Well, we did grow up here. I mean,
and you've run the race. So.
I have run it.
I live on the race.
He lives on the race route. That counts. That counts. There is such an energy on this day that is felt here in Boston and beyond.
Yeah.
This is a special race. It's a unique race. There's nothing like it. The spectators, the runners, the whole city comes alive.
And
it's amazing.
It's always been that way, and the feel has always been strong here as you head toward the weekend. Today, all four champions from last year are back to defend their titles. Marcel Hoog, Eden Rainbow Cooper highlight the wheelchair races. Sisai Lema literally ran away with the race last year in the men's pro race, and Helen Obiri is going for her third straight. Let me say it again. Third straight Boston Marathon win this year.
Yeah, she would just be the fifth in history
Right.
to do that. On the race call again is our friend John Anderson, who has an all-star cast of his own. John, good morning. Happy race day.
Good morning and Marathon Monday. Happy Marathon Monday to you, too. I watched those four champs, and I think, you know what? If we just got those four back, I could eat jelly donuts and go home right now. It would still be a great race. Joined by Carrie Tullison, Olympian. Bev Keflezighi, Olympian. Amanda McGrory, Paralympian. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just going to make sure I get the names right for everybody when we go through here. Your wheelers are up first. They have the honors. Let's look at the women's race, because last year Eden Rainbow Cooper won. She was terrific, but not everybody was here. We got all the proper villains this time.
The women's field is incredible this year. Eden Rainbow Cooper back to defend her championship. This was her first big win that she picked up last year and surprised a lot of people. We also have Catherine DeBrunner, who is making her Boston Marathon debut, Paris Paralympic champion, and she is the world record holder here. She just picked up a win in Tokyo and set the course record. She now holds every other course record across the majors except for Boston. And Susanna Scaroni from the United States. She won here in 2023. She picked up 4 medals at the Paris Paralympic Games. She won the New York City Marathon in 2024. And this is going to be a great race.
She had a little shoulder issue, missed last year's race. And then on the men's side, like, there are a lot of dudes, but there's only one with a capital D, and that's Marcel Hoog.
He is so D with the dominant on this
too.
course. Dominant with the D on this course. He's so strong here. He's going for his 8th win today. He set the course record the past 2 years. He's the Paralympic champion in the marathon. Daniel Romanchuk is maybe the only person, I think, who could give him a challenge on this course. He picked up the gold medal in the 5,000 meter on the track in Paris, but also is the 2024 New York City Marathon champion.
There's Marcel Hoog going for his 8th championship. It's amazing. He would have 8 and still need 2 more to get the most ever here in Boston.
Yes, to catch the South African wonder, Ernst van Dijk.
So they are getting ready to go. They're the first ones off, and if all goes according to Hoyle, he'll be here in 1 hour and 15 minutes, which is ridiculous. It's preposterous.
So fast. It is so fast.
Out in Hopkinton for the start of the men's wheelers.
And there they go, our professional men's wheelchair division, the 129 Boston Marathon presented by Bank of America. Our men are on their way to Boston.
So we celebrate the 50th anniversary of this race. 1975, Bob Hall petitioned his way in, got in, 2 hours, 58 minutes. The rest is history, not just here, Amanda, but literally almost every race that you go to, whether it's a turkey trot, whether it's Berlin, it's London, New York. Bob is a seminal figure in wheelchair racing.
Bob Hall is such a trailblazer in this sport. Racing here 50 years ago, that is so amazing to think of. And then made a name for himself beyond that as a racing chair manufacturer. He developed one of the first designs, but a lot of athletes got their starts racing in Bob Hall built racing wheelchairs.
Take a look at the full men's wheelchair division, the professional field. Marcel Hoog, John Boy Smith, Daniel Romanchuk, who's won here twice before, and he'll certainly be in podium contention. Women's race will come up. They start about 3 minutes after the men as we take a look. Susanna Scaroni right there. As you said, missed the race last year because of shoulder injury, said just needed to take some time off. Sho Watanabe, he's got quite a resume in this sport.
Just super strong. He was 4th here last year in Boston. He hasn't picked up a win at a major yet, but he is consistently really strong, really good in that 3rd place to 6th place position, and this could be his day.
Jetse Plott. The Dutch could figure big in this race.
Jetse is a little bit new to the marathon field, but not an inexperienced athlete. He comes from the para-triathlon world and won gold in the para-triathlon in Paris.
That first mile, all downhill, seems so exciting. Like, oh, this is the best race ever. Eventually, they have to go uphill. We go back to the starting line as the women will get ready. As I said, they're going to go at 9:09, so they've got about a minute as they've lined up and ready to go. How are my nerves if I'm there right now?
You're trying to stay calm. Boston is such an interesting race because it starts with this super, super steep downhill. So most races, you get a chance to kind of warm up and get moving. But Boston, you are going from 0 to 40 miles an hour in 10 seconds.
So there are a lot of times gravity is your friend.
A lot of times gravity is your friend.
Yeah, mile 17, gravity's not your friend.
No. And it is tricky here going from a stop to moving that quickly.
Talk about what an ideal day it is for racing. The last 2 years, Marcel Hug has set the course record. The women's course record set by Manuel Schär has stood since 2017, which seems like an eternity that somebody hasn't broken 1:28:17.
It was a really, really fast time. Faster than the world record at the time when she set it. But we've got a lot of competition here today. Tatiana McFadden, really successful on this course. 5-time Boston Marathon winner. Catherine De Bruyne making her debut. Eden Rainbow Cooper, who got that win last year, was really, really fast and strong down the hill. I talked to Susanna prior to the race, and she said that she and Catherine were a little bit concerned about being able to catch Eden, and they were planning on working together on the back half to close some of that distance on the hills.
Men's race, there's Marcel Hug. That first graphic I looked at, you had De Bruyne, Scaroni, McFadden, Rainbow Cooper in there, and Manuela Schär. And to think 2 of those women won't make the podium. Like, that's how tough that top end is here.
It is. It's really difficult for me to even tell you who I think is going to be on the podium for the women, because that core group is so, so strong. Yeah. And they're so evenly matched with different skills on this course.
Good look at Marcel Hug as he starts, and the women's wheelchair still in that first mile. And next coming up, then we will have both the men's and women's professional races. Go back to Duke Castiglione. It's Patriots Day, Duke, and it could be a big day for racers from America.
Oh, yeah, John, you're sitting next to the last American man to win here in Boston. That was Mad back in 2014. Who could forget that? Des Linden, the last American woman to win. That was in 2018. Des, by the way, announced this morning she is retiring after this race. There are several Americans lining up in Hopkinton this morning looking to change that. Conor Mantz placed 8th at the Summer Olympics last year. He finished 11th here in Boston in 2023. His training partner, Clayton Young, finished 9th at the Olympics and is making his Boston debut. C.J. Albertson was the top American in Boston last year with a 7th place finish. On the women's side of things, Kiara D'Amato is the 1-time American marathon record holder, this time running her 2nd Boston Marathon. Emma Bates was the top American here last year and in the year before. Dakota Popane finished 17th in New York City in the fall.
I do have expectations and, maybe a tiered set of goals. You better believe that, on the right day, with a little bit of luck and the right timing, I could pull it off.
It's an iconic race. It's, someone meets you and finds out you're a runner. They ask, have you run the Boston Marathon? And what's your mile time? So it's kind of those 2 questions. So very excited to be back.
And we'll be keeping track of all the American runners all morning. John, back to you.
Thank you, Duke. Yeah, Mev could have company over here. By the way, I don't know if somebody else, if an American wins, if you lose your spot here on the desk. I think you're safe for a while.
might be safe for a little bit, but maybe not today. Conor Mann's is looking great.
Side by side, men's and women's wheelchairs. Out first.
Yeah, a little bit of a pack over with the women. That's Manuela Schär, Eden Rainbow Cooper, and Catherine de Bruyne in that lead group. Susanna Scaroni looks like she is fourth, chasing, trying to close up. And this is Catherine de Bruyne now taking the lead for the women.
So explain to me so downhill's one thing. You have athletes who are better climbers, some that are better coasters. So like that Susanna Scaroni's not there right now. Do I care? It's early.
It's early.
What favors her?
This is okay. Susanna's really, she's lightweight, which means she's got a hard time coasting with some of the heavier women down the hill. But that means that her strength to weight ratio is really, really good when she hits the climbs. And you can see her right now. Her arms are moving so much faster than everyone else's. She's closing on that pack really, really quickly. This is where she excels, so I wouldn't worry too much.
I ask you this all the time. Do we ever share the work, or are you happy to let those people out front be out front?
You want to be tucked in, especially for Susanna. Her best move is if she can get tucked in before they hit the next downhill to let the other women pull her down that hill.
Easy part there. Everybody's trying to get here. By the way, this is the best way to do a marathon. Get at the finish and just let everybody come to you. Okay, that's just if anybody wants. Meb, you've been doing it wrong all these years. I hate to correct you now, but there's Marcel Hug, unmistakable. Carrie and I hosted a panel over at the Boston Marathon Expo, and some woman asked, what was the kit? What was everybody going to be wearing? And Marcel, well, I have a black bodysuit. He goes, but then I wear this silver helmet. He's easily the most identifiable guy on the course.
He is. It's always easy to spot Marcel's helmet, and it doesn't hurt that we're used to seeing him up at the front as well.
Marcel Hug going for his 8th win here in Boston. That would go with 9 wins in Berlin, 6 in New York and London, 5 in Chicago, 3 in Tokyo, and oh, by the way, he's won the Olympic marathon 3 times too. They're through 6K, at least that's what the map says to me. You're watching the 129th Boston Marathon on ESPN2 WCVB TV. We're back with more after this. Happy Marathon Monday, everybody. Wheelchair racers who are out on the course here in the 129th Boston Marathon. Amanda McGrory. When we left our superheroes, there were 3. Now we've just got a solo act for a while here.
This is Eden Rainbow Cooper. This is where she excelled last year. She got off the start really fast and built a gap early in the first part of the race, but she's not out of danger yet. Manuela Schär still there behind her. Catherine de Bruyne right there. Susanna Scaroni still trying to make up that gap.
She mentioned something the other day that I thought was remarkable. She said, it's hard to turn around and see where people are. And as she was approaching the finish, there was a hand cyclist that just kind of got in her, and she goes, oh my gosh, the girls are coming for me, and I had to go. How aware are you of all the other people in the competition that surrounds you?
Eden's right. It's really difficult to see behind you because if you see the seating position that athletes are in, those are their hips up really high in the chair. So their shoulders are down below. And to get a look behind you, you kind of have to look underneath your arm. And unless someone is right there, right behind you, normally you can't get a good view of what's going on. So you have a good view in front, not so great behind.
Women are in Ashland. They started behind. The men already into Framingham. Those are usually miles kind of 5 through 7, 7.5 as they go through. Men are averaging 2:26 a mile. Well, that seems fast to me.
It's very, very fast. This first half is so fast for the wheelchair racers because of all of the downhills. The men right now are on pace to run a 1:03 marathon, but that will slow down. The second half, once we hit the hills, once they hit Heartbreak, that's when this race gets really tricky.
There you see a good shot of what you were talking about, just trying to peek and see where the other people are. There's Manuela Schär, who she had the dominant run 2020, 2021, 2022, and since then, a lot of podiums, but only a couple of wins in Tokyo.
And Manuela is really, really strong. She's smart, she's experienced, she's run this course a lot. She holds the course record. She holds the course record here, and she's won here in the past, and she's really challenging to beat.
On the left, there's the men, Marcel Hug, Daniel Romachuk, the 2 that we thought would be there. for all the wins Marcel Hug has, and he had 17 in a row until New York and Daniel got him, and Marcel slipped all the way to 4th. First time in 41 races he had not been in a podium. Well, I'm going to get to you that in a moment where I'm going with that, because it was sort of a, it was an unusual result, but there was a reason for that we were going to dive into as we look here at the wheelchair racers headed this way to the finish. Marathon Monday at the 129th Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. John Anderson, Kerry Tullison, Meb Keflezighi, Amanda McGrory. And we are in full run now in both wheelchair races, the women and the men. In Framingham, it is a two-man race right now. A lot of guys in the field, but it's a two-man race, as sort of it was expected, with Daniel Romachuk behind Marcel Hug. And we were mentioning Marcel Hug lost 4th in New York, out of character, but also there was a reason for it. It's suddenly like he didn't just get bad on that day.
That's true. Marcel Hug was involved in a minor collision just past the half, and he kind of flipped up onto 2 wheels and he saved it. So from my perspective, it looked like he was good to go. But he said later that when he caught himself to prevent himself from falling, he cut his hand open and he got blood on his gloves and his wheels. And there is nothing slipperier than blood. So when he went to go to sprint, his hands just slid straight off. It's like coating your wheels in olive oil. And so that was, unfortunately, the end for him. You get the blood on your wheels, there is nothing you can do.
And he had mentioned that he also broke a finger, and he said it was just helpless. I'm trying as hard as I can. And there goes Romachuk, and there are these guys that just farther and farther and farther away from me. So we proudly said 129th Boston Marathon. This thing dates back to 1897. You really want to make it sound old. This is the 3rd century of Boston Marathon that we go as we look at longest running sporting events here in the U.S. Of course, if you got to see a man about a horse, you go to the Kentucky Derby all the way back to 1875. The Westminster Dog Show, that's in people years, 1820. Because otherwise it'd be like 1,000 years that the dogs have been doing the Westminster Dog Show, both the U.S. Opens, tennis, and golf. Good look at Bryson DeChambeau there, and of course 1897. So really, this race is just a pup, gang, compared to the rest of those things. Big day, Patriots Day. Marathon Monday, with both the men's and women's professional fields about to start. So we go back to you guys upstairs. There's Ed, there's Maria, and there's Hannah Storm.
Hey guys. It's great. I can't believe that the men are already heading toward Natick.
It's amazing.
They're close to halfway through already. When someone says Hopkinton to Boston around here, you know they're talking about the Boston Marathon route.
Yeah, but that wasn't always the case, right? See, you guys know this better than anybody.
We do, because so the race started in Ashland, which is right next door to Hopkinton. The original starting line was on Pleasant Street in Ashland back in 1897. And if you stop there now, that's what you're going to see. Marathon Park and monuments marking the spot. And you ask why Ashland? Before the first marathon, a race official hopped on his bike in Boston's Back Bay. He rode west for 24.5 miles along the Boston to Albany Railroad tracks and then ended up there in Ashland. So that's what became the starting line. There were slight changes to the course over the next couple of decades. The big change happened in 1924, right there when the official length of the marathon was established at 26.2 miles, pushing that start line a few miles back to Hopkinton Common.
And you pronounce it, how do you say it? It's one of those words. Is it Ashland or Ashland?
Tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato. John, it's Ashland or Ashland, doesn't matter.
As long as, and I know, like, we don't want to speak bad to place, just as long as you don't spend too much time there.
Right,
like, just want to get through it and go to the next one. And then you don't want to spend too much time in Natick either. And I understand with the Scream Tunnel and all the co-eds, you might want to dawdle a little bit there in Wellesley. But the quickest guy here, the quickest gal here is what you're trying to get to. Framingham is the 3rd of the 8 towns and cities that you go through. Marcel Hug and Daniel Romachuk. Like, I feel like that's the battle. The 3rd place, because the podium is really, that's an important spot. You want to be at on a podium in the major. That's going to be the real fight in the men's race.
It is. Marcel Hug and Daniel Romachuk have been really, really strong over the marathon distance for the past few years. And this is a good position for Daniel Romachuk to be in. He struggles on the downhills. Marcel Hug is an incredible coaster. And Daniel's strength is more in the climb. So if Daniel can hang on and stay within striking distance of Marcel Hug, when they hit Heartbreak Hill, when they hit that second half of the race where the topography kind of changes, you don't want to be climbing head-to-head against Daniel Romanchuk.
And on the right, only 2 in the frame, but there's 4 or 5 of them right there in the women's race that are very much going to contest this. We'll need all 26 miles, I think, to sort this thing out.
A little bit of a lead switch over on the women's side. We saw Eden Rainbow Cooper and Manuela Sharp pulling ahead early on. They hit a little bit of a flat. Susanna Scaroni over on the far side. And this is Eden Rainbow Cooper in the red helmet now, coasting up around. But you can see the difference. Susanna Scaroni and Catherine de Bruyne are so strong on those flats. They just hit a downhill. Eden Rainbow Cooper and Manuela Sharp back in the frame. So this is going to be a battle all the way.
It's going to be a great race. We're here for all of it. The men are probably now, boy, already they're less than an hour away. So as we throw it back to Ed, Maria, and Hannah, talk fast.
Talk fast, right?
We will. Let's go. Go, Ed, go.
Run even quicker, right? So we have quite a team out there today covering all 26.2 miles of this iconic course. And this year, a special correspondent joins our team.
Oh, yeah. Many of you will remember him from one of ABC's most successful television franchises. He was The Bachelor in season 25, on Dancing with the Stars, a wide receiver at Wake Forest, and a food blogger, too.
Yeah, a food blogger, and so many people's favorite Bachelor for sure.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that he's taken up marathons, our friends Matt James, is because he's a food blogger. But first, Matt, listen, you have run a bunch of these things. Tell us about the conditions out there today for all of the runners, the 30,000 of your best friends that'll be with you.
Well, this coat isn't very telling of how good it feels, but, you know, I'm a weenie having trained most of my running in Florida, so I'm just trying to stay warm before the race starts. It feels amazing. The sun's out, and there's not a lot of people in jackets aside from me.
You also trained in Kenya, I understand, with many of the top runners coming from there. What did you learn from that experience?
I mean, just appreciation. I mean, they put in so much work, and they're just such joyful runners. I think in the States we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and there they run to have fun, and I'm going to try to channel that, and I want to try to show that through what we have planned for the broadcast through our cameras and the glasses.
Okay, yeah, show us that, because you have these really cool looking shades, but as we're looking at pictures of you, you know, with champagne, that'll have to wait till after the race.
Cool, right?
Yeah, but show us what you're going to be doing for us today with those shades.
So I think it's super important that everyone gets the view of a runner in the actual race. So the POV that people are going to see back home is these Ray-Ban Meta glasses that have cameras in them, and it's unlike anything else. Having experienced the race, in the race, you'll feel like you're running down First Ave, down Heartbreak Hill, up Heartbreak Hill. I'm just excited for people to see what I'm seeing on the race.
Matt, are we going to feel what you're feeling? Are we going to be sweating? Are we going to be going up Heartbreak Hill like you are?
We're going to be feeling it for you.
Well, I have a.
2 minutes.
I'm going to take in all the energy from you all. There's a lot of side quests that I have planned. I saw a bouncy house coming in that I'm going to try to jump on. So this race is about having fun today.
Matt, the only thing I'm going to say is if you have cool glasses like that, you're not a weenie. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Matt's always cool. There he is. His 8th marathon today at
Good luck,
Second
Matt.
Boston. Yeah,
Good
we'll
luck.
be checking with you
Good luck, Matt.
throughout the race.
You'll be great.
Good luck, Matt.
Thank you. I'll see you out on the course.
We will see you out on the course. We're back on the course as the 129th running of the marathon is well underway. There's the silver bullet, Marcel Hug. We're live here at the Boston Marathon. Our coverage continues right after this.
Back here at the 129th Boston Marathon, presented by the Bank of America. We are about 24 minutes into the men's race, 21 minutes into the women's race. And Marcel Hug is out in front, and he has stretched a lead over Daniel Romanchuk. And on the right, Catherine de Bruyne. First timer, what is she like? What doesn't she know here?
The thing that's really challenging about Boston is that second half. the first half of this race is so fast. The women are averaging in the 3 mile an hour range, or 3 minute mile range, which is so fast, but it all changes. The second half of this race is really challenging. That's where the climbs are. And it's important to save enough in the first half that you're able to climb when you hit those.
So if I'm the other three who have been here and who have won here, am I like, I'm okay where I'm at because I don't know that she doesn't know what she doesn't know yet.
It's a really good position for the four of them to be in. If you're sharing the work, it always feels a little bit easier. And you can see right now, just watching, Manuela Schar's in second. And if you're comparing stroke counts between her and Catherine, Catherine's pushing harder. She's pushing faster than Manuela is to stay in that second place. But you don't want to be there for too long. So Catherine's pulling out, letting Manuela come up. Looks like everyone has kind of settled in a little bit. They've slowed down. They're kind of trying to feel it out to see what's going to happen next and if anyone's going to make a move, when it's going to happen.
And there is Marcel, who he spends a lot of time racing alone. And I don't know if that's difficult or not, but he spends a lot of time out there with no one, in his within even any, hundreds of yards of him. Take a look at where they are on the course. 10 miles in, essentially. The dot on the right is Marcel Hug in the yellow dot. And the women, that lead pack of 4, they're 7.5 miles in. 10-mile mark still puts you in Natick on your way to Wellesley. And the women's race just behind. And now we can zip over to see that. Look at all these. I don't know the street names, and every time I see something that close up, I feel like we're going to tell people about severe weather. But it is such a nice day out, we don't have to worry about that. Take a look at them again. Yeah, so the difficulty of Marcel just having to be out there and race alone.
Marcel is a very calculating racer. He has a plan. He knows what time he wants to run. He knows what mile splits he wants to hit. He knows what average speed he wants to hold. And so it's challenging to be out on your own, but also he's running his own race. He doesn't care what anyone else is doing, and it's worked really well for him. And, after doing this for so long, he's probably pretty used to being out on his own. You can see him checking under his shoulder. Daniel Romanchuk was really close to him for quite a while. He's now about 30 seconds back, but Marcel keeps checking to see if he's there, if he's closing that gap or not.
I'm looking at the last two victories, 23 and 24. He beat Romo by almost 11 minutes in 23 and 5 full minutes back in 2024. Men's race is coming up at 9:47. So I'm looking, we're about 13 minutes away from that. So that's where we're going to lean on Meb Keflezighi right now, the 2014 champion in this race. And I guess we should start with Sisai Lema, since he was the defending champ, if we're going to start anywhere about sorting out who's going to win this race.
He did amazing last year, going out so fast, 1 hour and 19 seconds. I thought it was suicidal, but he was able to hold it off. But we have Evan Chebet, the 2-time champion and 3rd last year. He wants to back his title. And then we also have John Courier, who had a big day in Chicago by running 2.5-minute PR. So he's excited to be here, to want to be like his brother to win the Boston Marathon. And Connor Matz, a banner year last year, just huge day. And he's the top American in the Olympics and half marathon American record holder. He's excited.
And there you see Lema after his finish. He went out 60:19, ran away from the field after about 5K and ran solo. He looked like Marcel Hug. I'll just be out here by myself. And there you look at some of the fellas that Meb mentioned. Evans Chebet, who wasn't terrible. I mean, he finished 3rd last year when he came through. John Courier, who's getting better and really kind of at the right age for marathoners. And then Connor Mantz, who has run so well, whether it was winning the trials, whether it was an 8th place finish at the Olympics, or how much can I translate the halves that he's run? Because he ran the American record in Houston, and then he ran 2 seconds faster, though not eligible for a record, in New York at their half.
Big confidence builder for him to be able to compete against the best of the best in the world. He got 2nd at the Houston half marathon, and he got 2nd at the NYC New York City half, so he can compete with anybody.
I always worry about the halftime because you got to also run the other half, right, Carrie?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to save a little bit of something. Remember how the downhills really affect your quads in this race. But looking at this man, Meb, Sisai, knowing that he is the defending champion, that's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure, but you have to be comfortable. everybody trying to do what you have done. He has won now. He can relax a little bit, but at the same time, as an athlete, we want to win the back-to-back champion. It's not an easy task, but they have done the training. See what happens today.
And by the way, that's an easy way to tell if you were a champ here, because you have your first name on your bib. So you see Sisai for Lima, and everybody else, you know, Career is John Career is just Career. Evans Chibet wasn't Evans. So as we get down and get ready for the start of the men's marathon, 1897 for the first one and 2025 today.
And the fastest long-distance runners in the world make their way east to Boston, and Mark will be joining them in just a little bit. Thank you, Mark.
Hear the PA announcer talk about Mark. That's Mark Baumann, who is the starter for this. Mark is trying to finish the Boston Marathon for the 56th straight year.
Wow.
56 in a row. He's got 55 under his belt. He's got the gun. He starts them, and now he's got to go ready and get ready for his race. Great overhead shot. There they are, out of the foliage, and 26 miles on their way. As we take a look at some of the competitors in this field in the elite division, the pro division. We talked about Lema and Career and Chibet. Zibri and Cotet, he's certainly a guy that could be a factor in this race.
I really like him. He came here last year, finished ninth. He said, I have a lot of revenge. That he emailed me and said, I want to win. I want to come back and do better. So keep your eye on him. 5 names there. Meb, I'm going to pick out Victor Kiplagat because he's the world champ.
You know, being the world champ is huge, and he has run really fast, and he should be able to be a contender now. You know, the Boston Marathon course is very challenging to see how it happens.
Abel Kipchumba's a fine runner in there. Patrick Tiernan, who anybody that follows NCAA cross country, remember after Edward Cheswick had won 3 in a row, he comes through. Isn't he a Villanova guy?
Yes, he is. You got it in.
All right. And because they're always linked together, Connor Mance and Clayton Young are together. Even though they are separate people, and off we'll go. And I'm curious to see how Connor Mance negotiates this. He and Ed Eyestone, his coach, with the plan they've come up with, because the first time he ran it 2 years ago, he decided, you know what, I'm just going to run with Kipchoge and see what happens there. And maybe that's not the best decision right away.
You know, Kipchoge was here, and everybody wants to be in the camera with them. But
Right.
Connor was not. Connor was on the sideline just saying, run his own race. But, you know, he got the taste of what the Boston Marathon course looked like. So I think it's going to make a big advantage for him to have run that race.
Yeah, and listen, I get the photo op with Eliud Kipchoge, but in this case, and he ran with him for like 23 miles. So it wasn't like he just was up there for the picture. But eventually those hills got him and wore him down, and he dropped back to finish in 11th place. The men early on, easiest mile they'll run, gentle downhill, you're fresh, you got all kinds of adrenaline. And then you get to this, and Amanda, these people are working right now.
Marcel Hug already at 11 miles. He's coming up on the half pretty soon. All alone, like we are so used to seeing him. But the women's race is where I think there might be some real excitement here. Still a pack of 4. Catherine De Bruyne leading now. There have been quite a few lead changes. And looks like they are hitting a climb at the moment.
It's easy to tell the climbs, right? Because the pace at Armstrong just slows so much.
Those road conditions affect the wheelchair racers so much. The downhills, Marcel Hug coasting right now. Some of the downhills on this Boston Marathon course can be upwards of 40 miles an hour. But those climbs, 6, 7, 8 miles an hour sometimes, depending on the wind, and it just grinds.
So you said Marcel coming up on the halfway point, and you look at his times and you just think, okay, well that's impossible. He 35:57 last year when he ran the course record, sub 36 for the half. That's just dumb.
He's changed the sport. There has been no one else who can run times like this consistently. And he just always looks so smooth, so calm, so together.
And then to come back in 39:36 is also kind of ridiculous. You know, to do both of those. 3 times he set the course record here, including the last 2 years as he comes through. The women's race record is held by Manuela Schär. She ran 1:28:17 back in 2017. Just nice single file line. Just looked like a train. Didn't you tell me, we talked about Bob Hall and his chair. You told me like there was a time you guys daisy chained that thing and went down hills?
There used to be a limit to the length of the racing chairs, and they were really, really short.
Right.
And they were short enough that the athletes could actually reach over and grab onto the backs of the chairs in front of them and coast down the hill at 40 miles an hour in a chain of like 10 or 12 people. There were some crashes early on in the road races, and I think that explains why.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know that that's a great idea unless you need a little bit more adventure in your life as opposed to what you get with that. Now easing on down that hill.
Manuela Schär now here taking the lead. The women have really pulled back a lot. This has turned into a much more tactical race than we've seen here in the past few years. Last year on the women's side, it was just like the men's. Eden Rainbow Cooper took off. She was the only woman we saw for the whole race. So I think that everyone here is trying to feel out what's going to happen next.
Manuela Schär now outpacing the group first. Taking her turn in the lead as it is. I know you tell me that's not what it is. I think you should share the work, but
the women are actually pretty good about taking turns.
Okay.
Most of the time they spend, 3/4 of a mile to a mile up at the front before they pull off.
Men in for the last, 6 minutes into this race. So off they go. They went through the first mile. I said the first mile was going to be less than 4:34. David Monty, 4:30. Oh, the undertakes it. So close, but that's still very quick. It's the most comfortable 4:32 mile that any of them will win. Our man with the men's elite runners this morning is WCVB's Josh Brogadier. Man knows the route, he knows the race. Josh, give us some first impressions from the road as we welcome you in for the first time this morning.
Well, John, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. This is my 16th time covering Boston, my third in the best seat in the house. And my seat right now shows me Connor Mantz out in front, along with Rory Linkletter, his buddy Clayton Young not too far behind, and also Patrick Tiernan. What does that tell me? They want to get a head start to try to make sure they are there at the end of this race and setting the pace. Sisai Lema, he is farther behind right now. He told us the other day, I was way out in front. I went for all the downhills in my first win. This time, I'm going to be with the group. He has a different strategy. Maybe that surprises some people. It really shouldn't. A different strategy can still be the win. You take it as it comes, and I'm thrilled to be here with all of you. John.
Thank you, Josh. Good to have you out there and keep track of Sisai Lema. That's good for Josh, too. He'll get to see everybody this time because, at 5K last time, Lema took off and Josh was just riding. He was a one-man guy. And now he gets a chance to look at the entire field. We're going to look at the women's field because they're coming up here in just a couple of minutes. And much like Sisai Lema is where you start, we start with the defending champ here, Hellen Obiri, not because she's won once, because she's won twice and 3 in a row. Well, that's history here.
And she seems super loose, but I think the thing is this time she's coming into this race without any races since this past summer where she was third at the Olympic Games. I mean, look at the joy that she had. You could see her family. We're all getting to know her daughter really well, Tanya. She is everywhere, and she is very excited for her mom. But I really think that the pressure for her seems like it would be really high this year with being one of those other 4 women that have won 3 in a row, but she doesn't seem like that. Her coach, Dathan Ritzenheim, told me she is fitter than she's ever been, so look out.
All
but
right.
Amane Bariso, we have to talk about her. She's the
another
fastest.
world champ?
Yeah, another world champ. She's the fastest in the field. Look at that, 2:14. I mean, her PR is so fast that you have to have her in conversation. And guess what? She was runner-up here in 2023, so she knows the course. Sharon Lokedi, runner-up from last year. I really like Sharon. She knows how to race on technical courses, which this is. She's coming here with a new personal best from the NYC half just a few weeks ago. So really excited for her. And Keira D'Amato, this is really that course that sort of set her up. She ran here in 2018. She came and raced and sort of kicked off her professional career here again. And she just is a joy to watch. And I think that we're going to see some great things from her today, too.
Out at the start line as the women get ready for their race. You mentioned
a little less than 1 minute to go.
The fastest PR in the field.
Yeah.
And it doesn't belong to Hellen Obiri. She's got the 11th fastest time. What is it about her, right? Because you're not even close to the fastest time, and yet what is it about her as a competitor, or what does it say about her as a racer that she has had all this success?
Well, I think what I really like about her is that she's so confident in her kick, that she was great on the track, she's great on the roads, and she knows what her talent is, and that's just to sit, hang on, and outkick everybody.
There's Des Linden on the line for the last time, mentioned that she is retiring from competitive marathoning after this race. We'll take some time to give Des's great career some perspective, but first we got to get this race underway.
And there they go. 2025 Professional Women's Division is heading east. Patty Hung will be chasing them.
What a great description of the course there by the PA announcer. I know Ed Harding had a wonderful, he took us through every town and, great course map that he went through. But really, here's what you need to know. Head east. Okay? When you get to the line and all the people, then you can stop.
Hurry up and get here.
Yes. There you go.
Well, we have such a great field. Irene Cheptai, I mean, this woman is actually someone that I think doesn't get enough attention. She was third at the Chicago Marathon this year, and just really kind of lying underneath the radar in such a nice way that she can just go and run her race. Edna Kiplagat, look at that. Still here and runs so well on this course. So a lot of people say if they can run with Edna or Des, they know they're going to have a great day. And can we just give a big shout out quick to Des again? She did mention this is going to be her last 26.2. But people, she's still talking about running even longer. So we're going to see her even longer out there. She's going to do the ultras, I think a 50-miler next fall already.
I don't think we have to be quick when we talk about Des. I think we should say that she's run 12 times at this race, and that this is where she ran her first marathon, and she loves this town, and she's been such a great supporter of races for the BAA, as has the Boston Athletic Association been for her, and she won this race in 2018. And I don't know that we should just zip through her, right? Their perspective of her career, she really Olympic. She's one of the defining members of a generation that she ran it.
She is a legend. And you know what else that we love about Des Linden is that she gives back to the younger generation of runners. She's constantly looking out for them. I mean, she wears a lot of hats. She's not an agent, but she probably could be. She's now putting on races. She has her podcast with Kara Goucher. I mean, she's just doing a lot for the sport. And so, yeah, I'm just big ups to her for everything that she does. And I'm going to miss her over 26.2.
Some flowers for Des Linden, who also has the laurel wreath for winning this. And all four races now, the four main races are out on the course, and then the four waves of the people are still to come, right? The races are out front. The marathon is in the back. There's Connor Mance. He's there early. Will he be there late? Last American to win this race, Meb Keflezighi, in 2014. So we'll keep an eye on those things here. A lot of running to be had. Actually, a lot of running to go, and then they'll eventually get to the racing as we go back to Maria, Ed, and Hannah.
And John, you mentioned it, Ed's fabulous piece. So here you go, America, the iconic Boston Marathon course as it snakes through those 8 cities and towns.
Hills, twists, turns, even train tracks to dodge.
Train tracks to dodge. As John mentioned, the simple explanation is to head east. So this is a little more complex look at that head east. This is a story inside every one of those 26.2 miles.
The course starts at Route 135 in Hopkinton, a quaint, historic town west of Boston, established in 1715. Runners start at the town common, 26.2 miles from the heart of Boston's Copley Square. The downhill start takes you into Ashland, and by the time you hit Framingham and then Natick, runners begin to separate. And as you approach Wellesley, they encounter a tradition that's been around for decades. It's called the Scream Tunnel at Wellesley College, where screams are deafening and kisses are no surprise. This energetic spot marks the halfway point. Route 16 takes you right into Newton Lower Falls, and immediately as you come out of the falls, a warm-up hill. It's a warning of what's to come. Heading toward Commonwealth Avenue, runners make that right turn at the Newton Fire Station, and staring you right in the face, the first of 3 inclines, collectively known as Heartbreak Hill. Survive that, and you'll see the run through beautiful Boston College, hit Cleveland Circle, be careful of the trolley tracks, and then turn left onto Beacon Street in Brookline. Next up, Kenmore Square, where if you look to the right, you'll see Fenway Park. Soon after, that Citgo sign is right in your face, a welcome sight, as runners realize they have just over a mile to go. The last stretch on Commonwealth Avenue, we say Com Ave here in Boston, and it's right on a Hereford, left on a Boylston, and then the final charge. 4 blocks to the finish line of the world's most famous marathon.
26.2 miles and only 5 turns the whole time.
And it all ends up right now, and then all 4 races on the Boston Marathon course right now. Back to John Anderson as we take a look at the women's professional field. John?
Thank you, Hannah. Big pack of runners. A year ago, they had, 15 or 16 all the way through the first half, up through 20 miles before they finally got to 23, and it broke down to a 3 women's race. And Helen Obiri trying to win her 3rd straight. As you can see, that's an exclusive club that has accomplished that feat. Fatuma Roba of Ethiopia was the last to do it between 1997 and 99. And then just before that, the previous 3 years, Uta Pipik had done it. And then you saw Sarah Mae Berman and Bobby Gibb, who did it really before there was a women's division. But we honor her, too, from 66 to 68 as she went through. So all 4 races. So we have, in this race, wheelchairs, runners, hand cyclists, and 1 dude on a horse. There's Paul Revere. Well, not the real guy. He's a reenactor. He was all about the North Church. Here in Boston at the marathon, they run to the South Church, and the bells play for the champion. He read a proclamation, and basically what he said is, the runners are coming. The runners are coming. 4 professional races are on the road and on their way to Boston. As we touch on all of them, men's wheelchair, ESPN2 and WCVB are projecting that Marcel Hoog is going to be the winner for the 8th time. Not all of the precincts are in the women's race just yet. As Amanda, we've got a group of 3 or 4 that are very much in contention there.
So many lead changes for the women. This is Manuela Schar, the course record holder, back up in the front. Eden Rainbow Cooper, little bit of a gap off the back right now.
Professional men's race. Yeah, still a lot of precincts that have not reported. Meb?
You know, it's a great race going on here. Downhill start, obviously, 4:32 first mile, 4:38 second mile, 4:44. And they're under 14:25K, so they've been patient, but at the same time, they're using their energy as efficient as they can at this point.
12 seconds faster than race pace through that 5K, and at 5K last year is when Lemma took off. And the women's professional race, Carrie, yeah, we're still undecided there.
Well, we are very undecided, very slow at the beginning here. 5:46 through that first mile. Now they're heading into that second, third mile here just to see where people are. But guess what? All of the big dogs sitting in the back. They're waiting, and that is exactly what we heard. These women were not going to push the pace early on.
Okay, so there's the fastest way, I guess, but in the absence of having an F-15, fly over here at the Boston Marathon. Wow. Fantastic shot there. I thought Paul Revere on a horse was good, but look at those guys zip by. Part of the pageantry of this event as it stretches 26 miles from Hopkinton to Boston. There's the professional men's field as they're working around some traffic.
You know, John, you were talking about Patrick Tiernan. He's part of this great group at Puma, led by Alistair and Amy Craig, and just having a phenomenal year, that group and that synergy. I heard he wanted to be up front. He wanted to stay out of traffic and be up there. It looks great.
And there is the women's race. Again, as you said, the ones that we would expect to be the contenders are more than happy and content to, right now, let others take the lead. WCVB's Alexis Beckett is on the course for the first time with our marathon team. We've put her in charge of those women's elite field and history, because Helen Obiri is going for a 3rd straight win. Alexis, give us your view here from up front this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. I'm so excited to be here about 2 miles in, and I just can't believe that I truly do get the best seat in the house. to start, the American women were mostly leading the pack for about a mile, and then we had Ramatusa and we had Amani Bariso come up and make a huge difference in the way that this front pack looks. And like you said, Helen Obiri, Carrie talked about the pressure that's on her. I asked Helen, how much pressure is it? And she said, look, it's definitely there, but like she said, I am so confident in my training. You see, she's tucked away here in the back, but that's not anything to be unexpected. So we'll keep you updated. I'll send it back to you guys at the finish line.
All right, thank you, Alexis. She'll be right there, right along till about the last half mile when she's finally got to get out of the way and let them chase down Boylston Street. Women second mile go through at 5:23. Those first couple of miles always a little quicker because it's kind of a rolling, gentle downhill. And now you go back and get ready for that first wave of runners. There are 4 waves of runners. Those people have all trained.
30 seconds to go. This will be the last announcement.
Got to be quick to get in this field. There's some time limits. Got if you're 18 to 30, I got to run less sub 3 hour just to qualify for this thing. So the champion is not in that group, right? But everybody there has a bib and they get the experience to run the great Boston Marathon.
Yeah, I mean, it is a wonderful marathon. It's a wonderful atmosphere, and I think everybody just is so jazzed up. It gets them through their winter, actually.
And there they go, wave 1, some 8,000 plus taking off from the start line. Here we go. It's a fast downhill.
I guarantee you,
Might want to save a little.
1897, a dude did not shoot a selfie of himself as he took off running down there.
Mab's getting some ideas for next year.
Kids, put your phones down, man. Even if you're running a marathon. I guess maybe
It's gonna
flip
make
it
the
over,
headline.
buddy.
Yeah, I'd pull a hammy if I did that.
But Meb, you've run somewhere you've just been with, you've paced different people. Have you ever stopped on the course and taken a selfie with people?
I have not stopped and take a selfie on the course, but I have run among the great people of racing, or it's great to be among them, to be able to just share stories, and they do come next to me and take a selfie.
I was going to say, that's on the course. How about just walking through town, how many times you take them?
That's 1,000 times.
I always wonder, though, if Meb stops and gives kisses at Wellesley.
You could, for
that
sure.
I didn't.
You did, no.
Men are through 5 miles. They've run 23:14 through the first 5 miles as these guys are just getting started. Rip the shirt, how cliche. By the way, did you catch early on there was a guy in a banana suit?
Oh,
Did you see him?
Oh,
there
you're
was
going to see all kinds
Chiquito
of
go
things
back.
today.
Wheelchair, men's professional, women's professional. Great stuff, great racing. Right now, everybody's kind of running. We'll get into the racing as they get deeper into this course as we go back up to Ed, Maria, and Hannah.
This is our favorite part, seeing that first wave go off.
We
and
were cheering here.
Yes, the everyday runners beside the elite runners is just so cool.
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
it?
without a
And
question.
marathon legends Bill Rogers and Bob Hall are the grand marshals this year.
And for a good reason. It was on this very day 50 years ago when Bill Rogers won the first of his 4 Boston Marathon titles.
But on the same day, the race actually changed by another man, a man in a wheelchair, Bob Hall, who helped pave the way for thousands of athletes everywhere. Take a look.
This is the guy who changed everything.
They were both on the course in April of 1975.
That first day, you put the wheelchair on the line and you're ready to go. What did you feel like?
I was very excited.
For the first time ever, right there in the middle of the thousands of runners, Bob Hall in a wheelchair. And the chair he raced in.
We had hospital chairs.
Hospital chairs?
Yes.
Modified, changed the angle, made the front a little more stable, steering on the forks.
Those are not designed to go 26.2 miles.
Not in the first day.
Bob showed us one of those early racing chairs.
The steering mechanism.
The makeshift steering.
So you don't grab it and turn it, you strike it.
Like this.
Yeah.
And the more you can go all the way around as a follow-through.
Yeah.
Gives you that snap.
Yeah.
Additional speed.
And I look at Marcel Hoog's helmet. What kind of a helmet did you wear back then?
Paper cap.
The paper cap.
Bob and his paper cap reached Commonwealth Avenue in Newton.
I'm looking up for the Citgo sign.
Through Kenmore Square to Hereford.
Just seeing the crowds and brought a smile to my face. I know I had done it.
To the finish line. Bill Rogers was on the course that day with his friend. Rogers won that marathon, and now 50 years later,
We're getting old, Bob.
they both celebrate their victories that day.
It's autographed by the legendary Bob Hall. You left your mark on this sport, you know that, don't you?
Wow, what was that like, being able to spend time with
Well,
Bob Hall?
the nice thing, honestly, is in the hundreds of years I've been at Channel 5, I've gotten to know Bob Hall very well.
Yeah.
So we've had a number of occasions where we've got, but he couldn't believe it's 50 years.
I know.
He can't
right?
believe it's 50 years.
You know what's so cool as we see Marcel Hug is out there.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to win his 8th Boston Marathon, and he's always looked up to Bob Hall, and he started racing in a Bob Hall chair. He met Bob Hall for the first time this week.
year?
This year.
This week.
Yeah.
So I can't
amazing.
wait. You know, obviously, if he wins today, we'll talk to him about that. But I think that's really nice he finally got to meet his
And
idol.
compare the two, right? I mean, Bob Hall did it just under 3 hours, and Marcel Hug's going to do it in barely over an hour.
Right, which is absolutely stunning as we celebrate this 50th anniversary of Bob Hall. And there he is.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Yeah, Bill Rogers and Bob Hall, our grand marshals. Can you guys hear us okay?
Yes.
Yes.
We
oh,
hear
my
you
gosh.
great.
I mean, Bill, you've dedicated so much of your life to really proving that anybody can be a runner no matter what the distance. Just how gratifying is it for you to see where the sport is today?
Today is like the ultimate honor to be here, you know, with Bob and the people of Boston, the BAA, Bank of America's support to build this race into the future. But Bob was the first person to ever do a wheelchair marathon. So he is, I don't know how we can really get a grasp on what he did because he was alone.
Yeah.
And I was following a lot of other people, my college teammate who won here and all that. But it's such an honor.
Yeah.
Bob, do you realize what you've done to this sport? I mean, you have changed the direction it went in, and for 50 years, it's growing leaps and bounds.
Well, I've certainly grown to appreciate what I've done, and I'm so excited that others have followed in my footsteps, so to speak. The growth of the sport through better athletes, better trained athletes, better equipment. I feel that each and every one of these individuals competing this weekend on Monday, I feel a part of them. I feel like each of them is a victory for me.
Bill Rogers, John Anderson here in the booth. And first off, I make sure everybody has proper perspective. Bob created one sport essentially by himself. But the appreciation we should show for you on the 50th anniversary of the first one, because between you and Frank Shorter and some of the other guys in that late 70s, like you, I feel like you built the sport of marathoning and brought a renewed, maybe not renewed, but a certain gravitas and weight to this event and really made it what it is today. When you look back at your place in history, where do you see yourself?
You know, Frank Shorter led the way for everybody in our country and worldwide with his gold medal victory in Munich. And we all saw it, and it changed our country. And I think it motivated people to say, you know what, this guy, this American took a gold medal. I'm going to get out the door too and try it. And so that's what I did. And Bob was kind of like the Frank Shorter of wheelchair racing. You know, a gold medalist, you know, in his mind and everything. So that's what the Boston Marathon is really about. It's always a record-breaking, doing things that other marathons didn't do or couldn't do because of its history with the Boston Athletic Association. This is about history here in Boston.
Well, you are a seminal figure, not just in Boston, but in marathon racing and an American track and field culture. And Bob, real quick, I have Amanda McGrory up here, and she's got a question for you.
Bob, as a wheelchair racer, incredible to have the opportunity to talk to you now. And looking at racing today, your designs have inspired so much of the modern day wheelchair racing designs. When you started building chairs, when you started all of this 50 years ago, did you have any idea that wheelchair racing could look like this today?
Well, I knew it was going to evolve into something bigger and better than I may be able to do. I did the best I could up until the point where the equipment itself was far more forward than I could bring it. But I'm very humbled and excited that I did help bring it to the level what we see today. I know what it takes to build the equipment. I've analyzed a lot of things to bring the equipment to a level that really helps the athletes. And as we see today, as a result of the performances that we see, and it brings me great thrills and honor to see such great times.
Two of the all-time greats. Bob Hall, thank you for your time. Bill Rogers, thank you for your time.
Thanks.
50th anniversary for both of you. Careers and honors well celebrated and well deserved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I still sit here sometimes, right, and I'm a fan. I'm like, wow, that's Bill Rogers. Like, he's that important as we see it. And there's Marcel Hug, from the first wheelchair racer to the greatest of all time. We're coming back here to the 129th Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America on ESPN2 and WCVB-TV. Get up and run as soon as we're off the air. Is that 128.17 from 2017? Do you know the second fastest time ever in the women's wheelchair, Amanda McGrory?
Thank you so much for asking me, John. Actually, I do.
And what was it?
133.13.
And that was set by Amanda McGrory, in case you didn't want it.
In 2017.
Jeffrey Mutai, Buzanaj Deba, Carrie and Meb, by any practical standard, given the shoes and everything else, those records are ancient.
They are.
They're due to be gone.
Yeah, they're due to be gone, but right now, I don't know. The men, they're close.
What?
The men, they have their on-course record pace. They're under it, actually.
It's great to see the defending champion, Cesar Lima and Connor Manson there, Patrick Tierman. I talked to Alistair Craig yesterday, and he said he's fit, he's strong, and he's going to go for it. So to see them in that early on pace, and it's just the weather's perfect, the pace is perfect, we might see course record.
Wesley Kiptu is in there. Mukhtar Idris is in there. Takeo is in there. There's Career, who apparently has lost his bib, so we're just going to have to make sure we get him by sight. Meb, if we were going to run the course record, because last year Lemon went out in 60.19, which everybody said that's too fast, it's suicidal, and he got home in 66 and still managed to win. If I'm going to reach that 2:03, because the back half is so hard, how do I negotiate and put those things together to make that happen?
The Boston Marathon is all about patience, being conservative at the beginning before the hill. So he went out, like I said earlier, suicidal pace, 1 hour, and that was too fast, but he had enough gap to maintain, get to the finish line. But the best way to run a course record or break the course record is to run even. Have your legs underneath of you by going mile 17 to 21, and then after that's a net downhill.
So you want to go 61.40ish, 61.40ish as he comes through. There's that pack of the front. And just think, a year ago, Lem was out there by himself. He had started to leave people in the dust. Not so this time. He hasn't gone quite as fast, and guys aren't as apt to just let anybody take off now.
Well, we know last year when Lema came in, he had just blown it up. He had run so well in Valencia. He ran 2:01 coming in. This year, he was at Valencia and only finished 10th. He had some injuries. Remember, the Olympic champion replaced Lema at the Olympics this year. Lema was going to Paris, and then Tamrat Tola took his spot because of injury. So he's coming in a little bit with different background. You can't put it past him.
So they're running. They'll get to the racing. How soon, we don't know. But right now, jogging along and on record pace. It's the 129th running of the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. 26.2 miles on Patriots Day on ESPN2 and WCVB. Every race rolling, and the first wave of runners is out on the course as well. As you look at the men's race, and
Idris.
Desai Lema out in front once again. And this is a look at where Marcel Hug is, the men's wheelchair two-time defending champ, 7-time champ overall. He's got about 5K left to get here to our location of the finish line in Boston. He's made that hard turn. Doesn't appear that he's crashed at all this time, which, by the way, 1:15:33 is a remarkable time, and he crashed,
And
which
he
means
crashed.
he should have gone like 1:14, which would have been for. We're going to skip the 1:16 and 1:17s or 1:15s when he came through, but he is well on his way to yet another championship. He's got himself more than a 3-minute lead over Daniel Romachek. So that's a mile, right? When you tell people, oh, you're going to win by a mile, that's usually hyperbole. Dude wins by a mile.
By a mile. The gap is starting to close a little bit. Every year, Daniel Romachek gets a little closer and a little bit closer. But Marcel Hug is just so strong, and he's so strong on this course in particular. He's a great coaster. He is a great climber. He's so consistent.
Listen, you put the best talent in the best chair and you get the best results. And we get them again and again and again. Just watching that, you just you can just still see there's focus. He's way ahead, but those eyes are dialed in. He's ready to go. Look at the women's race, and there's Susanna Scaroni, and that pace tells you that she's working hard up that hill.
Susanna is definitely climbing right now, but this is such a smart move for her, and this is exactly where she wants to be. Catherine de Bruyne and Manuela Schär both started as sprinters. They've got a lot of sprint speed. Susanna Scaroni doesn't want to be in a position to sprint against either of them at the end. She made her move early. She's a strong climber. She's going to keep opening that gap up, and hopefully it'll just be her at the finish.
Passing some of the other men's elite racers that are in that field. I imagine even that little bit helps, though. There's somebody I can go get. There's somebody I can chase.
Just somebody to chase, whether you're racing against them or not. Someone that you can catch, absolutely.
Women's pack carry, there you go. Roma Tusa's out there. Helen O'Beary, her gait is great because you can tell where Helen is when she runs.
Well,
they weren't there early, but they're all there now.
They're all together now, all the names, everybody's looking around. But I will have to say, Tusa, the one that is leading, she's coming off of a wonderful PB in the personal record, however you say it, at Houston this year, where she ran the half marathon really well. And so she has this confidence, but she hasn't quite run that marathon that's really been real flashy yet. So I think that this is really a big move for her to get her name out there, to get her confidence up there, and we'll see how she can handle it. But one woman we haven't seen touch the lead. She's been back in 8th, 9th. She's way on the right side there behind the motorcycle. That's Sharon Lokedi.
Yep.
I just love how this woman races. Listen, the worst that she's finished, I think, is 4th at the Olympic Games. I mean, you know, she did come into New York. She did have a good New York this year, but she had so many great races last year. And she, too, was an alternate at Paris, led in the final miles and ended up being 4th. But I really like Sharon Lokedi. I'm going to talk about her a lot because she was runner-up from last year. You gotta give her that attention.
Yeah, a couple of times she's been in really good battles with Helen O'Beary, but Helen's gotten her here both times.
Yep.
Riso is tucked back in there in 4th in the all blue.
Callie Thackeray, newly married this year. She's in the middle of the pack. A lot of eyes on her as well. She's had a phenomenal 2024. Just want to give her parents and her mom a shout out. She went through breast cancer. She's still in that fight. But last year was really tough for Callie Thackeray because of the emotional roller coaster it takes when you have someone that special going through. But she's had a really, really good year. She's right in the middle of the pack. Annie Frisbee, she's back from injury. There's so many people in this pack, John.
Yep, had a great college career at the University of New Mexico. Won a national championship there in cross country for Joe Franklin's team. Take a look at the men's race. Clayton Young's right there, got his shades on. He's in the middle. He doesn't have the magic shades like the Bachelor does. Those are just regular ones when he comes through. Lemma still out in front. Just this time he's got way more company than he had a year ago. Tiernan. Meb, that's a pack. How am I? And it's early in the race. I'm gauging other people around me. I'm worried strictly about myself. What am I doing as I run these early stages and with this group?
John, it's great to be in a pack because with the wind or knowing your teammate, like for example, Clayton Young and Connor Mans, they've been trained together, so this is kind of almost like a tempo run for them, comfort. And for those other ones, it's good to evaluate, assess the strides, breathing, and just to be there is very important. And the race is going great because they have not gotten some crazy move, just consistent, about 3 to 4 seconds per mile difference. So they're That's the reason we send the pack together.
Certainly a brisk pace right now, but nothing as crazy as it was a year ago. There's the silver bullet, and that's what he is right there, man. He is a silver bullet as he is closing in on yet another championship here in Boston.
Marcel Hug passed the 24-mile mark now, less than 2 miles to go to the finish. He crossed 24 miles at 1:14.12. He's on pace to run 1:21.03, which is not 1:15, but 1:21 is a fast marathon.
Well, the wind here is negligible, and the wind really affects in the chairs. You mentioned the difference between a tailwind and a wind in your face can literally be 20 minutes.
On this course, yes, it can be a 20-minute to 30-minute difference between having a nice tailwind and having a strong headwind here in Boston.
How about what do we have going here on the women's race? Because Scaroni has put some space between her and her best competitors.
Susanna is about 30 seconds ahead of the chase pack. She just crossed 20 miles, 1:11.08. She's on pace to run about 1:30, which will not break Manuela Schar's course record from 2017 of 1:28, but a really strong race for her, and she is in such a good position. Susanna's advantage over the rest of the pack is that she can push harder longer than anybody else. And when she gets that gap opened up, it tends to continue to grow because she is just going to keep working even if there's no one there.
So all those major hills, Heartbreak Hills, that's between kind of 18 and 21, and yet sometimes I feel like they also kind of show up and announce themselves in miles 23 and 24.
They do. I think the last 10-15 miles of the Boston Marathon is the hardest part of this race because the hills come up on you fast and you don't really have a good recovery between them, but that's what Susanna wants. She wants to burn them out on the climbs.
So a quick view of the men's race, and Conor Mantz very much in the shake-up there. And this guy is just, he's a one-man show. Marcel Hug coming into the final mile.
Marcel is so amazing to watch because it's really hard to tell whether he's climbing, whether he's going downhill. His stroke is so consistent. And if you look at his hands on his wheels, you can see how much coverage he's getting on the ring. That little bit at the bottom, if you think of the wheel like a clock face, that piece between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, that's where you get all of your power, the flick off the bottom. And Marcel is so good and so consistent about hitting that spot every stroke.
Yeah. There you take a look at the map so we can actually pinpoint him as he's going to go by Fenway Park. Red Sox today, by the way, playing the White Sox, fourth and final game of that series. That starts at 11:10 local time, so part of BP right now as he goes by. And for Hug, about to start a new streak, because we mentioned because of the injury he fell behind and took fourth in Boston, New York. Before that, 17 straight major wins, 44 consecutive podiums, all these numbers, and so he's going to start a new streak here as he is about to finish up officially yet another win here in Boston. They've got the, look behind us, they've got the finish tape out there for him as well as he gets to eventually come down Boylston Street to all the cheers.
Marcel Hug is through mile 25 at 1:17.25, holding pretty steady. His last 2 miles,
as quick
right
as you can see that
around
clock now.
3 minutes per mile.
Clock has him at 1:18.22. Another one of the great things about Boston, New York, Chicago, the great marathons here in the state. People appreciate excellence and greatness. They also appreciate everybody out here who's making an effort and running. Hug is, this is again, we saw the oldest sporting event in America with the Kentucky Derby. I feel like this is very much like watching the movie Secretariat where he's yelling at Ron Turcotte, just don't fall off the horse, right? Just make your way here.
That's it. All Marcel Hug needs to do is make it to the finish line now. He's got about almost a 4-minute lead on Daniel Romanchuk. That's continued to grow throughout the race. He's only been defeated 2 times on the road since 2021, both times by Daniel Romanchuk, but not in Boston today.
It's amazing. I get winning is contagious and you like that, but to win that much and not not lose your motivation, because you know, at some point, like I've won it 7 times, and yet still trains, still gives the effort, still puts up these times. I think that's an amazing accomplishment as well.
Marcel Hug has said more than once that he just wants to see how far he can push the sport. He wants to see how fast he can go. He wants to see how far he can go. He wants to see how much he can drop those times. And he has been leading this field. He's a 6-time Paralympian. He's been leading this field for nearly a decade now. And he continues to lower the bar with every race.
Every year you go through, you do your research. Here's what I need to know about Daniel Romanchuk or Jetse Platz or David Weir or Josh Cassidy, so many of these great racers. And then it comes down to, like, if I could just write down some stuff about Marcel Hug, we'll figure it all out.
Coming around those turns now.
There is the left onto Boylston. That's the biggie. Great shot of what has become and has been a lot of the recent marathons, just a one-man race. First of our 4 finishers. I don't know that Bob Hall wants a piece of him. And that's from behind him, as you can see. The finish line for him is just seconds away. Just another outstanding effort by him. He could give all the numbers. I guess you should just let greatness wash over you, right? Just watch him come in.
So amazing. This will be Marcel Hug's 8th career win here in Boston.
Yeah, like if we've said it once, we've said it 8 times. Marcel Hug is the Boston Marathon champion in year number 50. Part of greatness is to make it look easy. Part of our job is to explain to people it's not easy.
No, and Marcel Hug makes it look easy every single time.
And the church bells peal down the block here, as they do every year.
Women's race, Amanda. It's become kind of a one-person show here as well. A minute lead there for Susana Scaroni.
It's got about 5 miles left here. That lead has been growing. She started making those attacks right before Heartbreak Hill, trying to break up the pack, knowing that she didn't want to have to sprint at the end of this race. She is a great climber. She is really consistent. The finishing sprint is not Susana's strongest piece of her race.
Got to know what you can do. You got to know when you got to lead people, got to take advantage of when your strengths are and not leave it to other people. Congratulations there. EAA Director Jack Fleming. There's Bob Hall. Checking the splits, maybe. He's eyeing it up. You get the Boston, the BAA, the Boston Marathon app. You can track all your runners, which is great. Track your friends. Track the people that interest you in this race.
Something on Earth.
Oh, look at all the joy. So we've got our first champion. 3 races still to go.
Yeah, it was really
Susana Scaroni looks to be on her way, but there are some people behind her. If she gets a little careless, the men are at Natick, the women's race in Framingham, excuse me. Well, we've got her packed. Framingham is the women's pack. Roma Tusa, Helen O'Beary there, Veriso, Cheptai, Indiwa, Cheptu, Sharon Loketti. It's a good group. It's a big group. And Alexis Beckett is out there following them. She's going to have us. Well, I love my seat here, Alexis, to sit and watch them, but I feel like you have really the best view of any of us. What are you seeing?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Like you said, Tusa has been in front. Her and Amani Bariso have been kind of trading back and forth for the first spot. But for the past 6 or so miles, it's been this pack that you see right here. Helen O'Beary has been staying in the top 3. But like I said, it's been Tusa and Amani Bariso. Amani coming off of 5th at the Olympics. She was disappointed in that. She told me she said you race to win, and that's what she wants to do here today. I'll send it back to you guys at the finish line.
Thank you, Alexis. Trying to look through in that pack to see Yelemzer Fialho. Won the London Marathon in 2022. She was the champ. Annie Frisbee leading the American chart. She's still very much in that lead pack, and she's in the shakeup. And now Susanna Scaroni really turning it over.
Susanna, so strong. Trying to make that gap as big as she possibly can right now. She's got no idea, but she is 1 minute and 15 seconds up on Catherine De Bruyne. That gap keeps growing. She crossed 22 miles at 1:19 and on pace for a 1:35. So a little bit slower, but negligible wind today. No wind is great. A tailwind is better for the wheelchair racers on this course. So a really strong performance without a wind-aided finish here.
Doesn't know maybe exactly the gap of those trailing her, but everybody's been on this course enough to know exactly where they are each time and how they, I know you got to stay in the moment in the mile you're in, but you also got to know what miles are ahead, and so you can be smart and do the things that you said strategically she needs to do.
The biggest challenge for Susanna Scaroni was hanging in down those hills in the first half of the race so that she didn't need to do that much work catching up on the climbs. She stayed in, she stayed with the pack, and then when it was time for her to make her move, she was in position and ready to go. She ran this race absolutely perfectly to set herself up to be solo for these last few miles.
Competition's great. As viewers, as announcers, we love a good, exciting finish. If you are the racer, I imagine being up by a minute 15 is fine by me.
It's hard to race an entire marathon solo the way Marcel Hug often does. But when you're able to pull off a break like that, when you push with the pack for 10, 15 miles, you pull away and you're on your own, there is no better place to be.
And I'll get Meb and Carrie your thought on this too. Everybody has a good day. You go out and you feel, oh, I feel great. But for a marathon, you got to feel great for like 2 hours. It's not like, oh, I feel great today in my 800 and I can zip through 2 laps, right? Like you got to always be a little cautious in exactly how you work with that feeling of I feel great.
You know, when you taper and you're going to feel good, you're going to feel excited, but at the same time, you know it's a 26.2 mile journey, so you have to be patient and hold on for as long as you can.
Well, it's inevitable. They are going to hurt at some moment, and you have to just work through those ebbs and flows of the marathon.
The men are, as you can see, they're Wellesley in the screen tunnel. So in the words of the great Nicole Briscoe, let's make out, America.
To turn my volume down. This is amazing. I threw my husband under the bus one time. I said, I think he stopped and actually gave a kiss or two. And when I got home, he said, Carrie, I did not stop and kiss another woman. So sorry, Charlie, but you know, it is so fun going through that spot right there, isn't it, Meb?
It is absolutely amazing. The tunnel of sound is echoing, and here that's what you look for. It's a championship race, the Boston Marathon, and to kind of measure halfway point, and you know, just the sound of those people is amazing, carries you through.
Yep.
Take a look here as they go by one of those aid stations to see who's got their bottle all their bottles, and it's everything's exactly if they need to. Who's going to take it? Who's going to let it go? And who's going to keep running? Patrick Tiernan's got his through theirs. Just give me a little squirt at this point, a little refresher, throw it away, and the race is on. As for the race that is finished, first one, men's champ Marcel Hug. Hannah, I don't know what you can ask a man the 8th time he's won this, so you didn't ask the first 7, but have at it.
Unbelievable. 8 is great, and Marcel Hug has a huge smile on his face. First of all, you just finished. How are you feeling in this moment?
I feel so good, so happy, so satisfied. Such a great day to win 8 times. It's an incredible number. Still need some time to realize what happened, really, but I'm so happy.
Well, a year ago when we were here, this hand was bloody. You had crashed at the firehouse. What was your approach and your strategy this year?
About the same strategy, just to have my good endurance, good pace, high pace. My downhill section was not so good like last year, but then after 10K I broke away from the group. And then, yeah, everything went well. Had no trouble in the curve, so I'm pretty happy.
Still managed a course record last year, by the way. I know you were able to meet Bob Hall for the first time, and this is the 50th anniversary of him opening up this sport. I mean, you can imagine what it is today. What was it like for you to meet him? Can you put into words what he's meant for you?
It was a really special moment to meet him. I mean, he's a real pioneer for our sport. He opened the door for us that we can race here in Boston. So we are so grateful, thankful that he had the courage to come here and do the Boston Marathon 50 years ago. And so, yeah, it was a really great moment.
Your first international race was in a Bob Hall wheelchair, and your first win here in Boston was 10 years ago. Think about that. How do you compare yourself now to the young man who won here 10 years ago?
It's incredible. Time flies. Yeah, now I have a lot more experience, but honestly, I still enjoy it to race here, same as 10 years ago. And every win is something special here in Boston.
How do you explain your dominance? You're one of the most dominant athletes in any sport in the world, and you have been winning for a decade. What does that take, Marcel?
I don't know. I think it's so much that need to fit together. I've now a lot of experience. I train a lot. I have a good team who support me. And yeah, I don't know. It's just hard work and do my best.
One of the things that we were wondering is what it's like for you to be all alone out front for so much of the time.
Yeah, at one point it's tough sometimes to be alone in the headwind, but yeah, you can keep up the pace for your own. There's no issue for strategies, no finish sprint, which is very helpful for me. But yeah, and in the end, the last 5 or 6K, I could just enjoy the crowd. It was incredible, so noisy, and they shouted. It was really nice. So thank you for this one.
And what is it that makes you've won everything? Every major, you've won it all. But what is it that makes Boston special to you?
I mean, Boston is very special because it's a very historic marathon. I like the course. I like the people here, the crowd, the organization. We feel so very welcomed here. We are very much included in this field together with the runners. And yeah, I just love the city to be here, and yeah, it's so special.
Well, we talk about Bob Hall's legacy. You are building quite a legacy here in Boston. So congratulations, Marcel, and good luck in London.
Thank you very much.
Let's get it back to John in the booth.
Thank you very much, Hannah. And there's Susanna Scaroni, who's inside the last 2K of her race. And she's got this well in hand. And Carrie, in the pro women's race, we've seemed to have this thinned out a little bit. Bit of a break here.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching Amani Bariso really try to push this. You know, I said she was runner-up here in 2023. She's got that amazing 2:14 PR. So this pace for her feels right. And she knows how to run this race. But remember, this course really attacks you on the second half. So still being careful is something that you have to use and keep in your toolbox.
Helen O'Beary, though, one of those 4. So is Sharon Lokedi. So kind of as we keep track of Sharon's efforts to, Helen's efforts to win a 3rd straight. She's very much in the shakeup along with Yilem Zerf Yahalo.
Yeah, Yahalo, what people are now calling, thanks to Let's Run, is Y Square. But yeah, she is one of, I think the story kind of to be told. She's the youngest in this field right here, or in this group right here. She's 25 years old. She just has a really neat story. She came out of the blocks, if you could say that in a marathon. She came out really hot early on, and she had some injuries. So she is very fast over the half marathon. She's got a 63-minute PB in the half marathon. So she has the wheels to be able to handle maybe the finishing touches of the Helen O'Beary kick, but she has to draw that out of her early on. So she had told me that's her thing. She's not really willing to really put it out there, but she wants to be ready with 2 or 3 miles to go.
Very much. You want to try to If you leave Helen that kick in the last mile, you're in trouble. You got to take it out of her there earlier than that. Susanna Scaroni, she gets ready to claim another Boston crown.
Coming up to the finish now. She won here in 2023. Her first win in Boston, was out last year with injuries, but had a strong performance at the Paris Paralympic Games. Won the New York City Marathon in November, is going to win her second Boston Marathon here today. She is back.
She is back, and really it's good for her because, you know, for so long she was close. She went through this 8th, 9th, 10th finish. Then she had a bunch of podium finishes, and then in Chicago 22 she finally breaks through and wins, and it's amazing what she's done since.
She has worked so hard for so long, just climbing her way up through the rankings, really putting in the work, putting in the miles. I trained with her for most of my career, so I know how hard she works. There is no one out there that deserves this more than Susanna Scaroni.
This is her 10th Boston Marathon. In her first one, she was 6th. She's been 5th, she's been 4th, she's been 3rd 3 times, she's been 2nd twice, and now she's about to become a champion for the 2nd time. And for her, it's kind of back-to-back because she didn't race in 24, so somewhere she gets to go, oh no, I'm a back-to-back champ.
But she looks good, she looks so strong. And what she's learned over all of that time, tactics, how to run a good race, how to run the perfect race for her, and that is what she did today.
In a field filled with major marathon champs, Susanna Scaroni is the best in Boston. Takes that title they all wanted here in 2025. Greeted again by Jack Fleming. How long before my heart rate's down and your breathing stops, you know, gets back to normal?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know. I feel like you carry this high with you all day after winning a major event like this. So no matter how bad you hurt, no matter how much she's feeling it crossing the finish line, she feels great right now. Her coach Adam Blakeney is over on the side to the left. And this is chair of the Boston Athletic Association Board, Sherry Blowett, winner here in 03 and 04.
Do you want to sing the All Night Flight song? No?
I don't know it.
Okay. Oh my, what?
Don't tell anyone. I guess I told you.
You just kind of outed yourself, lady. I don't know that I have anything to do with that. Marcel Hug, Susanna Scaroni. There's Marcel Hug rolling in, number 8. Scaroni, number 2. First 2 champs and a great day here at the 129th Boston Marathon. And 2 more to come, the men's and women's professional. You're watching the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America on ESPN2 at WCVB.
The Stanley Cup playoffs continue Monday on ESPN.
Welcome back to the road to Boston. Streets through Hopkinton, Ashland, Framingham, Natick, Wellesley, Newton, Brookline, Boston. Men on the left, they went through the half in 101.52, which is not quite record pace, but it also wasn't exactly some kind of a burner. And there's a full group there as they head into the second half of this race. Josh Brogadier is with them. Josh, you got a lot of people to keep track of out there, brother.
Yeah, absolutely we do. Look, Michael Conley, the author of 26 Miles to Boston, said it this way. People don't come to Boston to run its race. They come to Boston to live their life. And I'm seeing 14 very fast life livers right in front of me flying along the course here. Like you said, it may not be record pace, but to them, this is the way to live their life. Now, there are only 2 former champions in that group, winners from the past. Sasai Lemba, like we talked about, he's in the middle of that group right now. Evans Chebet a little bit in the back of that group right now. Out front and looking strong, American Conor Mantz. You guys know his experience in the Olympics. He ran this 2 years ago. He got 11th. Don't count out Conor Mantz as we approach the Newton Hills right now, guys.
Thanks, Josh. Hey, throw Carrera a Sharpie so he can put his name on his on his siglet as he runs by there. And the women's carry is a group of 5 as we take a look at them. And the person that can round up what's happening with that handful of women, including Helen Obiri, is Alexis Beckett.
Yeah, guys, Yalemzer Fiawalo has taken the lead. She's had it for about the past 2 miles, but this pack of 5 with Helen Obiri and Sharon Leketi, Irene Cheptai, and like I said, Yalemzer, they've broken far away from the next pack behind them, but it's feeling like a really good race. Everybody looks so comfortable. I talked to Helen Obiri about racing with Sharon Leketi and Akim Lagat all the time, and she said the way that I look at them is friends as opposed to competitors. I've raced with them so much. They help motivate me, so it's great to see Helen Obiri and Sharon Leketi so close together. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Alexis. Good race, and there's a second pack behind there. Not too far, but it appears that the race is going to come down to these 5 women unless something significant happens.
Someone we haven't talked about is Irene Cheptai. She's newer to the marathon. This is only her 3rd marathon. She comes from that track background, right? So she's learning this distance, but she's done really well. 3rd in Chicago, like I said, 1 Hamburg in 2024. So coming here as a newbie, but very good at this distance. She said that she's been training back home. She's really excited about here. She trains with the males like a lot of people, but her husband watches her workout. Her coaches sends from a distance. She said the hills are everywhere, so she's prepared for them.
So as the women continue on in the race, I want to take a moment here and remember a familiar voice of the Boston Marathon, Elle Trautwig, who sadly is no longer with us.
Des Linden is the 2018 Boston Marathon champion, first American since '85. How about that?
Vision, Susanna Scaroni, 2nd time for her. Took this race off last year, a heel up a shoulder, some enforced rest. She said really was good for her in a lot of ways other than just, hey, my shoulder feels better. Susanna Scaroni, there she is, champ in 23, champ in 2025, and she's with Hannah Storm. Hannah?
Yeah, here with the pride of the University of Illinois and of Boston, Susanna Scaroni. Congratulations. John just described how you were unable to be here last year to come back and win the title. How gratifying is this?
It's such a blessing to get to be here today. It was amazing. It's such a surprise to have made a gap with such an awesome field of women. So I am so grateful.
Yeah, it was such a competitive field. You guys were all bunched together, drafting off each other. So give us your strategy in terms of when you were able to break away.
Yeah, so around mile 15 and a half, there's a pretty steep, a little bit technical downhill with a little bit of a turn. And I just, honestly, my years of experience, I think helped me have a lot of confidence to not break on that hill. And I think that helped me against Catherine DeBrunner, who's a phenomenal athlete, but this was her first Boston. So I think that was the first and only time I may be able to use that skill, but after that I love climbing hills, and we were just given many miles of climbing, so really fortunate.
Yeah, well, first of all, I know you finished 2nd to DeBrunner in Tokyo, so it must have been very satisfying to beat her today, and you guys will be seeing each other again in London. So what kind of confidence does this give you moving forward?
You know, I was with so good. Doesn't give me any confidence for next Sunday like I have for today, but I love getting to race in a strong field like that when you don't know what will happen. And I love her. She's dominating and pushing our field forwards. And so I will say that I'm pretty happy to have come in first today, but I love all the people I race with.
Yeah, and listen, you love those hills. I mean, they're heartbreak for others, but there's something in you that enables you to conquer those. What is it? Because that's so critical here, obviously.
Yeah, it's my small town of Tico, Washington, near Spokane, Washington, where I learned how to really love hills. You have to love them if you're going to survive.
And on the 50th anniversary of Bob Hall opening the door to this sport, what does it mean to you to win on this particular day?
Honestly, the reason I'm here today is because of hard-working people that have tenacity and integrity to push for us to be here today. I don't think I have that kind of personality. So really, to be here because people knew this was the right thing to do, and they were able to advocate for that and work so hard for this, it means everything. Yeah.
Well, you are nothing if not tenacious, coming back from terrible injury. This is your 5th majors since that training accident. So I think tenacity is your middle name, Susanna. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
John?
Thank you, Hannah, and congratulations again to Susanna Scaroni as we look at the men's race. Josh, thank goodness you can count, because you said there were 14 last time. Looks like there's the same 14 this time. What do you have for us?
Actually, John, I have some breaking news for you. Sasai Lema just dropped out of the race.
Oh!
The defending champion, who was with the pack moments ago, went to the side right by Newton Wellesley Hospital. He put his leg on one of the barriers and started to stretch out his calf like most of us who have run before have done. So Sasai Lema no longer in that lead group. In fact, I don't see him anymore. He is not in this front group, and he is not even in the secondary group. He's far back from where our camera can see. Sasai Lema, who last year was all on his own the whole way, and this year changed up his strategy to run with the pack, is no longer even in that pack or in our sights, John.
Wow, important information. Great update, Josh Brogadier on the moto with our men's leaders as they are through 16 miles, which means they're into Newton, which means the hills are coming, and that pack of 14 or 13 is not going to stay that way very long, because that will sort people out for sure. Carrie, we still got the Fab Five.
Ooh, we sure do, and get this, they are well under course record pace, 46 seconds under course record pace. Busha Esteba set that in 2014. She ran 2:19.59, and they are flying.
Helen O'Beary, this is way faster than anything she's ever run in that pace. Sharon Lokedi, the same. Her best is 2:23. Bariso, she's run 2:15, so she's comfortable in this pace. We'll see what happens as they continue on. But right now, they are not just the Fab Five, they are the Fast Five, Carrie. They look good through 15 miles. These people are just getting started. These are the people that make the Boston Marathon great. They've qualified in our race. There's 4 of us. There's 5 of them in the women's race, Carrie.
I'm getting fired up here. I've been texting a little bit with Helen O'Beary's coach, Jathan Ritzenheim. Everybody knows him here in the States. He's a phenomenal coach. Was an awesome runner himself. But you know what? I asked him, I said, what is Helen doing when she's touching her face? I remembered vaguely that she was praying, and she was doing that just a little bit ago, and you could see her touching her face, not just using that high arm carriage. So you can tell that she's really getting into this now as we see Amane Bariso now take the lead again. But when I said quickly, are you pumped that she's in the lead? And all he wrote back was, wow. So you know that Jathan Ritzenheim and the team there in Boulder are really excited for her. This has been a different build-up for Helen O'Beary. She was over in Kenya away from her family. We asked her about that at the panel. It's a big sacrifice to leave your family to go, but this has been serious for her. She wants to come here and win, and you know, she's not a spring chicken. She's getting a little bit older, so every ounce matters, and every win is huge.
Ran 68.46 for the half. That is very quick for all of these women. I mean, some have half PRs that are quicker than that, but never across, obviously, the full 26.2. As they get through Wellesley, the Scream Tunnel, and all the loud. Listen, this place, it's louder in some places than others, but it's loud all the time, right? It's a lot like it. Usually they're just loud at the finish line, Matt. This is like a 26-mile finish line to some degree with the noise.
From Hopkinton all the way to Boston is very loud. There's amazing people just having a picnic or just hanging out cheering the runners.
On the left, you got Connor Mance. He's out there, his training partner, former also BYU Cougar. Clayton Young is still with him. So men on the left, women on the right. Right now, comfortable in their pack. Women blazing along, the men sort of just running along.
Well, I think the power of pairs, right, John? I mean, when we see it in the women's side, we see that there are a couple Ethiopians. There's 3 Kenyans, and 2 of the Kenyans, Sharon Lokedi and Helen O'Beary, race a lot of races together. They can feed off of each other. They help one another in races, but that is comfort. You see it on the men's side as well. Teammates are up in this pack. Not only Patrick Tiernan, Rory Linkletter kind of falling off a little bit, but he's been there, and Patrick knows that. He can hear people, and he feels that. Clayton and Connor, both teammates, lots of guys training together and working together.
Well, while that race is engaged, we're going to get to Duke. Talk more about, well, another Boston legend here, Duke.
We're joined by Teddy Bruschi, three-time Super Bowl winner. Teddy, this is hard to believe. Teddy's team now in its 20th year.
Yeah, 2 decades we've been around. I had my stroke in 2005, and we started Teddy's team. And over the course of 20 years, we've had hundreds of runners do special things for us. So, in every year here at the Boston Marathon, this is our event. The Boston Athletic Association has been great for us. WCVB, all of your affiliates have helped us out this year. So, we have formed a great community over 20 years.
And over those 20 years, you've now raised over $10 million.
Yeah, for stroke and heart disease, me being a 2-time stroke survivor, so many of us of our runners are stroke survivors, caregivers. I mean, we stay connected with everyone that is connected with stroke and heart disease. They all run with a common goal. Today's our big day.
And you have, what, 11 people out there on the course today running that have either survived a stroke or a heart issue?
Yeah, that's super special because when they cross the finish line, it's almost like they've accomplished something that they didn't accomplish even before they were a survivor. I know how it is that I ran this marathon after I had a stroke, and it's something you thought you could never do, even as a survivor. So having to accomplish this, and I tell them it's like winning a Super Bowl. Really, crossing that finish line and getting the medal is a huge accomplishment.
And what was it like for you the first time you crossed the finish line?
I remember the first time I made this turn here on Boylston. It's disbelief. It's similar to when we won our first championship. Really? I really tell our runners that's the way I felt because I've done both. And when I crossed that finish line, I was with my wife the first time, and you get your medals. It's like you've done so much for whatever charity you're running for, whatever inspiration you have in your heart, whatever you overcame to do, you get that medal, and it's a moment you'll never forget for the rest of your life.
Well, Teddy, thanks for being with us this year. We really appreciate it. John, back to you.
Thank you, Duke Castiglione. Now that I moved out of Bristol, I don't get to see Teddy as much, just bouncing around the office, so it's good to see him. Here's Hannah Storm. Hannah, just so you know, 11:40 wave 4, so we're getting very close to Riley getting out on the thing, so just get yourself ready. And now the men, not only are they're still a pack, yes, but Meb, they've kind of scattered. I like that they're giving each other room.
They've scattered a little bit here just to be able to analyze each other. They're getting the fluids here, so it's a time to be able to go back or forward to see what mechanics or how their form is looking at this point, because you don't want somebody's going to make a move at one point or another, but you want to be able to see who's going to be the strongest.
Well, we saw John Career in Chicago this last fall look so smooth over the final miles. He's setting himself up really nicely as well, but they broke apart too because it was a water station or a fueling station. The guy that's in purple there, we haven't talked about him much, Meb. Mukhtar Edris, this is his debut at this distance, so he's doing really well by getting in that pack, finding himself in the lead. He looks really smooth, along with Patrick Tiernan. My gosh, look how relaxed he looks.
Amazing. This is Mukhtar Edris's race. He's 31 years old, making his marathon debut, and he's in contention as a competitor. He's a 2-time world champion, the 5K, and 2-time cross-country champion. So he knows how to race. The question is 31 too old, but he's doing the traditional, going from the 5K to the track, and we'll see how he does, but he looks great.
He's run 58:40 for a half. He did in Valencia. Everybody runs 58 in Valencia. I think that's exactly well, I don't know that Hannah Storm's run 58 in Valencia. But we're not talking about that. Hannah, back to you. Like I said, keep my eye on 11:40 for when Riley starts. We're keeping track for you up here.
We can't wait. She's running for Teddy's team. She's in Group 4. Again, there's Teddy. Hey, Teddy. I saw a really cute picture of you and my daughter this morning. I want to just thank you for having her to be part of Teddy's team, official charity partner, WCVB, and our Hearst television stations in New England. What does it mean, not only to you, to have people raise money for Teddy's team, but what does it mean to the folks who are actually doing it, who are out there on the course?
Yeah, it's just an honor, Hannah. There are so many people that are connected to stroke and heart disease, and to have them run for my team and raise money for stroke awareness and the things that special things that we do in terms of comeback assistance programs, getting these survivors back on their feet in their lives and getting back to doing the things that they did before they had a stroke or heart event. It's just so special. Today is for them. I mean, this is something that they put in so much time, so much training, so much fundraising in, that today is for them. I tell them it's like a 26.2-mile stadium. Everybody's cheering for them. It's the Super Bowl of road races, what I love to say, and they're going to finish and get their medals. And I know it's a special day for you. Riley was very nervous when I saw her at the Lennox Hotel pre-race, but I know she's going to do great.
She wasn't half as nervous as I was, Teddy, first of all, and she, like many of these runners, is fighting through injury. Just the tenacity as we look at the men's and the women's professional field. There's Riles. There she is. She got her bib, thanks to you, Teddy, and so inspired by helping to raise money for you. Upwards of $500,000 is going to be raised today. What makes this event so unique in terms of the 3,200 people who are running for causes close to their heart, the 3,000 everyday runners, and the elite field all here in one place, Teddy?
Yeah, I mean, how many times can you do that? Just the world championship runners that are running on the same course that you're running as a charity runner, and that's who I represent. They're all the charity runners out there, and really, for me, that's when the race starts. I mean, Hoog's already finished. You know, the elite runners are coming through. It's going to be great to see them win their championships, but everyone that's running for something that's near and dear to their hearts, their inspirations, you know, their charities, so much different is made today, and it's something that Teddy's team is so proud to be a part of.
Yeah, and Teddy, in terms of the race of life, you are definitely winning, channeling your own personal experience and helping so many other people. Thank you for joining us again. If you want more information on Teddy's team, please check out WCBB, their website, and we'll direct you to the right place. Teddy Bruschi, a champion in so many ways. John?
Thank you, Hannah. Men's race, and Meb, it looks like we got some turnover. John Career has decided to put a little surge in here, put a little energy, a little speed into this thing.
John Career has so much motivation and so much notoriety after the Chicago Marathon by over 2 minutes. So he's making a move here, and space has been created at this point. If everybody was feeling great, they'd be next to him. But it's a crucial point at this right now to be able to make a move.
90 minutes in, and he has decided to put the pedal to the metal a little bit. And that pack behind him at this point either can't or has chosen not to respond.
When John Career won the Chicago Marathon, this is exactly where he went, at 20 miles. You know, he was chomping at the bit. He was sitting there in 3rd or 4th position, but that's exactly the moment in Chicago. Completely different courses, right? So you don't really know if it's going to work with one and the other, but he could be one of 2 brothers to win this race for the first time ever.
Absolutely, Kerry. I think Wesley Curry gave me a lot of advice. What he told them: be patient, believe you can't compete with anybody, is what he told them, but also make a move. And he want him to break at Heartbreak Hills, and I think we're getting there right now. So I think he'll be able to just mile 20, 441. That's a decisive move right now, and the people are, you know, obviously not comfortable enough to go with him. So he got to be able to hold on.
Yep, good advice from big brother Wesley Career, who won here in 2012 Boston Marathon champ. Very much involved in his brother's career, and as Kerry has said, never had a pair of brothers win this in the 129 years that they have raced it. But maybe that's what today is about, because right now John Career has decided, I'm headed to the finish line quicker than you guys, and you're all invited to come with me. At the moment, no one has decided to engage with him. It's the 129th Boston Marathon, ESPN2, WCVB. It's getting good, so you want to stay with us.
Raise upwards of $50 million this year alone.
That's impressive.
It's impressive, their commitment. It's impressive their dedication to what goes, including your daughter, Hannah.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, there are 4 waves of runners who are going off, and that very last wave of runners. So the final of that 30,000 or so who are running
Here we
today
go.
is just going off now at 11:15.
Getting a little nervy, right? Just getting into the Boston Marathon and his accomplishment in and of itself.
Yeah, the qualifying times for Boston are some of the toughest times for major marathons. So if you're not running for one of those charities, you have to qualify.
You do. And we actually talked about that with Jeff Dengate, who is the runner-in-chief at Runner's World. And guess what? He's running himself today.
You have to qualify by running really fast. The times are different based on how old you are. But you can also get into raising money through charities, which is also a really good way to earn your spot here.
So here's your qualifying times, and it really depends on how old you are, right? You can see the breakdown here. For 18 to 34-year-olds, the men need to break 3 hours. The women, 3.5. By the way, next year, these qualifying times are going to actually be 5 minutes faster for everyone younger than 60 years old, which I don't know. Is present company included in that?
I mean, do we need to talk about that?
Let's go.
Guys, let's pick up the race.
What a race, John, we have.
We couldn't do that if we were a relay team, each running a mile. Who are we kidding? Women's race fully engaged right now. We've got 3. Hellen Obiri trying to become a 3-time champ right there. Amani Bariso. And then in front there in the orange kit, Yalem Zerf-Yahalo. Those 3 ladies are on their way. And is that Sharon Lokedi gets pulled up? So she dropped back, but Sharon has fought back to make it 4.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. I just said to you over the commercial break, I said we have to see if Sharon can reattach herself, because that is no women's land. And this is we still have a long ways to go. She needed to regroup and catch back up. But listen, they are 2 minutes under course record pace right now. These women are flying. We have not seen one woman we've seen go under 2:20 here. Now we have 4 in the top pack that are running 2:17 or potentially faster.
Well, we saw the F-15 flyover, so to kind of borrow that, there's 4 women. They're in formation. The men over there, as they get through these tough Newton Hills, John Career is all by himself, Meb.
John Career looks great. And when I talked to him earlier in the week, he said he wants to run for a purpose and for a cause. He's a product of his brothers that founded the Transcend Talent Academy, and he's been part of that. And then he said, I'm going to be able to be an ambassador for this. And he's looking at his watch right now. He's measuring himself, but also he's wanted to give it back. He said he's going to give 10% of his earning to the Transcend Academy. So he's running for a purpose. It looked like it's a little bit downhill now. We have gone past Heartbreak Hill. He have enough gap. Can he maintain all the way through is the question.
John Career, mile 20, 4:41, mile 21, 4:39. That's cooking through those really tough uphills. That last one, 85 feet elevation change. That's the one that really is the killer.
John, the endorphin of winning is big. We talked about the pace may have been a little bit slower, the course record, but now he can get the downhill to his advantage as long as he can maintain the pace.
Women throwing elbows trying to make space.
Well, we know that Hellen Obiri likes to get going, and it is always patience is a virtue in the marathon, and that's a real big thing that they've been working on with her. Patience. She seems like she's gotten that, but it still is hard for her to not to want to push. That's just what she is. She's a great cross-country runner, great track runner. She's a competitor, and yeah, I mean, there's clipping going on, and there's some looks going on.
That's the looks sometimes can be the worst.
But listen, I asked Sharon Lokedi, and I know, and you can speak more to this, Meb, than I can, but there is a big rivalry between the Kenyans and the Ethiopians. And I asked Sharon Lokedi that, and she said, yes, before the race, we look at each other, we see each other, we acknowledge. During the race, it is real competitive. And then afterwards, they can be friendly. But it is a very strong rivalry between them.
Kerry is definitely a big rivalry, and you can see now they're changing load from one side to another. Hellen Obiri just pointed out to a hollow now to give me some space, and they're looking at each other now. They're talking. The Ethiopian and the Kenyan rivalry is deep.
Yep.
In fact, I think there was a track meet where Haile Gebrselassie and the Kenyan, so it is deep, but at the same time, they get along in the lobby, they get along in the meals, but when it comes to competition, it's deep and it's strong.
What I think right now is I'm looking, John Career pushing. Look at the pace that he's got, right? He is definitely intense right now. On the women's side, it looks almost as if they've kind of settled back in, really kind of honing in on each other. They're still well under that pace. They are not necessarily thinking about course record. They're thinking about the win. But John Career, my goodness, has he hammered the last mile.
Yeah, that gap is up to 25 seconds. So, for all the life of me, he doesn't look like he's ready to go backwards at all. So those other guys are going to have to find something. And once again, as we get into the last 4 or 5 miles here, as it was last year, this asylum, it is one man on his way. John Career, the women, as it was the last few years, it's a fight for 4 of them. Ed?
And on his way to take the turn onto Beacon Street and head into Boston. He's moving through Brookline to Boston to the finish line straight in front of him. We are excited here to announce that ESPN and WCBB Channel 5 have extended the broadcast partnership with the Boston Marathon presented by Bank of America.
It's a multi-year agreement. It means you will be able to watch the marathon live on ESPN, WCBB on air as well, and digital for years to come.
We love our partnership together, and this is great.
Good racing. Women 4 into their running for sure. John Career's into his running in Brookline, and he's asking the other guys to come. Quick peek over the shoulder. He knows they're there, but right now he can't see them. Connor Mance, by the way, still in that group of 4 that's giving chase. So is Evans Chebet.
On the women's side, we're seeing Sharon Lokedi again up to the lead in that water station area. I'm not so sure this is where she necessarily wants to be, but we do know that Annie Frisbee's in 6th place right now. She's about 1 minute and 30 behind, having a really great race. I mean, she's under 2:20 pace, people. This is amazing.
She could possibly be the fastest American on this course day.
Exactly, yeah.
And Annie is great. She trains in Minnesota, obviously. She's in great, phenomenal shape. And, she was walking out on the lobby just as relaxed as it can be.
Very
the pressure's not on her.
Yep, she trains with Dakota Popane, top American at the Olympic Games. But yeah, you said it. 2:22.02 is Shalane Flanagan's course record here from 2014. And right now, Annie Frisbee is under that pace, well under that pace.
Saw that chase pack of Mance and Idris Kotut trying to get to John Career. Hope that maybe he comes back to them a little bit. The women, when they spread out, it's like they're ready for a photo that can be on the cover of the Boston Marathon for next year, right? They just 4 abreast, all of them running. You're right. I think their pace has cooled just a bit, but the competition certainly has not.
I think that John Career just ran mile 22, 4:24, and from last 5K from 30-35, 14:26, so he's making the gap quite a bit bigger. So, I always tell people, don't wait until the last 400 for a race. If you can get away from others, do it early.
Yeah, he is ticked off a bunch of 420s.
Yeah, I think for him, his 58.50 is his personal best in the half marathon, and when he went 101, I believe 101.29 or something for the half, he has a big spread for him to feel as comfortable as he can, and then now as he goes down to the downhills after heartbreak hills, he's using it to his advantage.
Ran 2:02.44 in Chicago. He's run this race. This is the 4th time. Last year he was 4th in 2:07.40. 23 came through, was 9th in 2:10, so obviously he's got the experience. And every year he's improved, gotten a little better, and hopes that at some point he can match his brother. But really, he's kind of stepped up in both his weight class of races that he has won. Right, he'd run in LA and won that marathon a few times, but he's kind of stepped up in class into these World Marathon Majors, and then certainly has stepped up his times. You're watching the Boston Marathon presented by Bank of America. Hopkinton to our broadcast position by the Old South Church in the Boston Library. Men's and women's races getting late. Take a look at John Career in this shot, and now we pan back to find those guys behind him. There they are. That's a significant gap, because you know what? You're running out of real estate at some point. You run out of race.
Connor Mance, Katut, Edra Simbu, these guys are all so good at what they do, but getting a marathon, a major win is so very hard. John Career got the taste of it in Chicago this last fall, loved it. Says he runs for something different than the win, though, doesn't he, Matt?
Absolutely. Connor knows how to race, and he's in the mix with the best of the world. And I talked to Ed Ison yesterday, and he said, coast the first, he gave him 4 C's. Coast the first 1 to 6 miles and cover the moves. Unfortunately, he was not able to cover John Career's move, but he's hopefully be able to cover these guys. And then also cruise. He's go from 16 to 21. He wants to be cruise, look as good as possible, have the legs underneath of you, and then hopefully he can close fast.
Gap now 40 seconds. We showed it to you visually, but if you want to put a stopwatch to it, 40 seconds between the men. John Career and the chase pack in the men's race. Here's the American women's update. Annie Frisbee having a great race. And now it looks like she's way behind, but she's crossed the track pad. And Emma Bates and Jess McLean-Sarah Hall, Dakota Popane have not quite gotten there yet.
Yeah, and Emma Bates, has been the top American in the last 2 times that she's run here. She's coming back from injury as well. It's a big year. 2024 was a big year, and it's a really hard thing to get through the Olympic Games, get to the Olympic trials, and healthy. Those 2 women are back here healthy now, and they're ready to roll.
Sharon Lokedi on the right leads the women's race. She fell off a little bit, but gathered herself. She's in front, coming off a win in the NYC half, where she ran 67:04. Would you cover that one?
Yeah, I did.
You're there,
and she looked so good. She got to mile 10, and it was like shot out of a cannon. She really held back, and then she set a new PR. She's coming here with lots of confidence. She, too, has had a little bit of a different build-up. Normally, she goes back to Kenya. She's been in Flagstaff the entire time here, and they've had to really search for male pace setters for her here, too, to have enough. But her coach, Ann Sharon, told me that she is probably in the best shape of her life and wants that win. We've seen her be runner-up here. She won in New York in her debut, but hasn't won since at a major marathon. So, yeah, I mean, this is her day, maybe.
Who am I kidding asking if you ran the race? Like, if there's a 10K in Rapid City, South Dakota on TV, you're doing it.
I love to talk running, let's just say that.
They're the 4 horsemen on the right. It's going to be a great race. I want to see who gets froggy and starts to jump. That's why you should stay with us here on ESPN2 WCVB TV, because it's the 129th Boston Marathon presented by Bank of America, and we have decided nothing in the women's race yet. Stay with us.
I had just had a baby. I had gotten a
And then the 4 women on the right, Sharon Lokedi, Amani Bariso, and Yelemzer Yahalo. There's the chase pack. We're going to go with our man with the leader. That would be Josh Brogadier. Josh, let's visit with you one more time before they get close.
Guys, I think it's just so significant watching John Career run without a bib. You don't see the name Career, and that is so much about his personality. He was joyful when I spoke with him on Friday. He was talking about giving all the money back, part of his earnings back to the children of Kenya. And I know that Meb referenced part of this, but the Transcend Eye Hospital, he said he's running here so that someday they can run here. It was really beautiful. And so ultimately, he's kind of like a professional charity runner. And that's what the spirit of this marathon is all about. He just had his water bottle, had it, dropped it. We're approaching right now Kenmore, and boy, does he ever look strong. I don't think he's going to set the record here, 2:03:02, but he might be kind of close in that 2:04 range, as he's looking pretty strong and pretty casual as he comes past this area near Fenway Park. Guys?
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, his brother Wesley, a noted philanthropist as well, built a hospital with some of his winnings back in Kenya. So that whole family about good works in addition to good running.
Oh, if you all saw how Wesley Career celebrated when he won in Chicago, that was the best dance I've ever seen. So hopefully we can get a shot of that because we know that Wesley's here today.
Yeah, I think we're fixing to see another one. He's 441, 439, 424, 438, 441. Folks, he's running those miles 20 miles in. I mean, I get that's what they do, but for the normal people, the people that are running in the pack, the people that are starting in these other waves, that's amazing. Good shot there of Fenway Park. Oh, the Red Sox are underway, I think. 11:25, yeah, they should be going. A reminder, this race older than Fenway Park by a lot. 15 years. Yesterday, by the way, April 20th, the official opening day of Fenway Park, way back in 1912.
Hey, you know, Coach Ron Mann, who coached Wesley Career to the championship, and he had another athlete, Coach Ibrahim Hussein, in 1992 to coach, and now possibly John Career to the finish line. And Coach Ron Mann said, to those more given is much expected, and Wesley Career and John Career are able to give back as much as they can in Kenya to be able to help 200 kids to go through their program, and hopefully one day that they can be here and run and represent the sport of running. And he tells them, you guys are ambassador for the sport of running, so make sure you give back.
Good shot looking back so you can see the chase pack. On the right, Carrie, no change.
No change. This is what happens here at Boston, at least when Helen Obiri's in the race. Everybody waits. Everybody waits.
I was going to say, so are they getting themselves in a spot where they're maybe, I don't know about handing this over, but they're giving some of the leverage to Helen Obiri?
Well, Helen Obiri's never run this fast before, so this is a whole new ballgame for her, too. We know that she can run fast. We've heard it. Her coach showed me her last 6 runs were done, her last long runs were done under 2:24 pace. So she is so ready, but so are these women. I mean, all 4 of these women are so good. As we saw a picture of Connor Mance there, getting ready for maybe his first podium at a World Marathon Major.
You know, Coach Ed Eyston, his coach, said, it's a matter of time when he's going to run 2:04 or 2:05. He's competing against the best in the field with Sabrina Couture, who has run 2:03, and also Alfonso Sumba, who also ran 2:04. So Connor Mance is doing a phenomenal thing. He'll be able hopefully to get to that podium, and he's in the lead, and he wants to bring it home as strong as he can.
Yeah, clearly in a good spot to be the top American. The last 5 years running, the top American's been 7th. So I don't know why we've etched our place as 7th where we are, but Connor Mance looking to...
I mean, can we just give Connor Mance some props, though? I mean, really, he puts himself in every single race, and he runs himself into the ground, even when he's got, you know, some injuries and things on the mind and on the body, but he really does. He wants it so badly, and we all, I think, want it for him, too. But, man, this pack of 3 has been really powerful today. They've been helping each other out.
Amanda McGrory, I know the wheelchair racers are done, but you know what it's like to hurt in these stages in the race.
No matter how good any of these athletes look right now, they are absolutely feeling it. And so much about the marathon, this 26.2-mile distance, is the mental part of it. Everyone here is well-trained. Everyone here is ready to run. They know how to run 26.2 miles, but it's about staying consistent and not getting in your own head.
Absolutely. 90% is mental, 10% is physical. On this point right now, John Career looks great on the men's side, but the race is for second place right now. Who's going to get that second place? There's 3 guys, and one is not going to be in the podium, and you have to be able to know your study, what your strength and your weakness is. And Connor, we know that he's a fighter. Hopefully he can push it through, dig deep like he has done in the past.
He keeps looking back, and in this case, they're not gaining on you, right? Satchel Paige, don't look back, they might be gaining on you. I don't know. At this point, he feels like he is in complete control, coming down. Last man to win Chicago in October and then win in Boston was Robert Kipchoge Chariot. Did it 2006 and 2007.
It is a beautiful feeling coming on Boylston Street. It's able to the crowd is deep and celebrating the sport of running, and John Career is making a name for himself. I talked to him in Kenya, which one is popular, the Chicago Marathon or the Boston Marathon? I was definitely surprised by his answer saying Chicago because of the world record, but this is going to change his life for the better. And to be on Boylston, looking at his watch, coming across the finish line is the thrill of a dream come true. And to be two brothers to win, Wesley Corey in 2012, and now John Career, his dad is going to be so proud, and his mom as well.
And there's the race for those three. Wait till that gets engaged between Simbu and Cotutt and Conner Mantz. What a great shot that is.
Oh, it's going to be excellent. This is what we strive for. This is what we train for. This is what the mileage goes for. This is the visualization of dreams. And, you know, the podium is so epic here. And Conner is going to be excited. But at the same time, who can hold the form together to get to the finish line?
Like full-on goosebump moment.
I know, Ed Eyestone always says, win the race you're in. John Career is going to win this race, but now Conner Mantz has to win the race he's in if he's going to get that second position.
Soak it in, John Career. John Career is the man who is going to meet the moment in Boston. Champion of the 129th Boston Marathon. And then the race here. Simbu, Cotutt, and Mantz. They've dropped Mantz, and now for second. Cotutt and Simbu.
Yes, but it's a big PR for Conner Mantz. It might not be second place, but 2:05.06. Amazing.
You're going to give me a photo? That's Simbu, I believe it. Has it in second. Cotutt is third, and Conner Mantz just off the podium.
John,
but a huge PR for him.
A huge PR, and that's what Run to Win is. Sometimes you race for the finish line to break the tape. Sometimes you run for the podium, and I'm pretty sure Ed Eyestone will be so proud of him.
Unofficially, John Career, 2:04.45.
Wow, what
There's
a
look at
debut
Mantz,
here.
fully spent.
Yeah, he has to be so proud of himself, though. Man, what a big day. Fourth place there.
Unofficially, the time 2:04.45 for John Career. Sub 2:05. Mukhtar Idris.
Debut today.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
My goodness.
You never forget your first Boston. There you see Clayton Young and Linkletter in the chase. Here comes North America. Great race for Clayton Young. He'll eat well tonight.
Oh, yeah. Ashley, his wife, always knows how to either find the right nutrition for him or fuel him herself.
You know, Clayton, Ed Eyestone said if he can get the top 10, he will be ecstatic for him. And for Conner Mantz, podium would have been great, a win over the moon, but top 5 is as excited as it can get, and a PR, that's amazing.
Fantastic day for both those men. Linkletter is going to get there just ahead of Young, who's going to 9th at the Olympics, but another great international field. And a great performance by Linkletter for Canada, and a great performance by Clayton Young.
Clayton Young, he told me that he wanted to prove himself, even after being an Olympian and being so good at the Olympic trials. But he said this year is all about proving himself and everyone else. He's done a great job with that.
And the women's race. We've lost one, but it's not Helen Obiri, and it's not Sharon Lokedi.
It's the fastest lady in the course.
Yep.
Amani Bariso.
The world champion, Amani Bariso, is been left behind by these three ladies.
Sharon Lokedi has to do this. You can see that she's got that pressure on. She has to do it if she wants to run the legs out of Helen Obiri. Yahalo is great as well. She's got that speed. But I really think that this is where Lokedi needs to start thinking about really starting to put the pressure on.
And it becomes a whole different race. You see a lot of those fast marathon times, but that's because they're in races with pace setters. They're in races with people that can help them through this. These guys are on their own, and there are 3 left. Who will join John Career as a Boston Marathon champ? Well, that's why we're here. That's our job, and we can't wait to bring it to you. 120 with Kerry. We've got basically a 5K remaining.
Oh, I am so excited. This is what gets me every time, this finishing kick here in Boston. Every single year, it seems like in the last few, as I said, it comes down to the final 100 meters. But we're seeing Sharon Lokedi start to put that pressure on, as I said. Yahalo, she knows she needs to as well. We've talked about her half marathon. She's a 63-minute
over half marathon. She's one of the fastest that we've ever seen in history there, but I think that they all know what Hellen Obiri has done. This woman has won medals on the track, in cross country. She's done so well. She was 3rd at the Olympic Games, but a lot of people don't realize that came with 2 falls during the middle of that race. So just such a phenomenal athlete right there in the middle. Waiting. It's exactly what she does.
Through 37.2 kilometers. The race is 42.2, so we are right at 5K. Inside Cleveland Circle, through Brookline, Boston, and Back Bay. And again, everybody looking forward to that big left onto Boylston and that last stretch. And it looks like they're going to need all of that to sort this thing out. Loketti, who won in New York in 2022 and has been really just close since, hasn't quite been able to repeat that championship. Ihalo's got a major marathon under her belt. London champion in 2022.
You know, John, nobody's giving space. They're running so tight together. You see a lot of saying, hey, take the lead or give me some space, because they want to be comfortable as much as they can, because the lactic acid has kicked in. They're fatiguing. They wouldn't want any bumping into each other. So it's going to be a great race toward the finish. These are very accomplished athletes on their own rights. You know, but Hellen Obiri have the speed of the 1,500 meter, but, you know, it's a marathon.
You've got Ihalo, who has got a world record on the roads in the 10K at 29:14 against a woman who's got a couple of world championship gold medals in the 5,000.
Yes, so fast on the roads, as we said, but this is where we're looking at the map a little bit. We can see where they are in respect to the record. Right now, the record is on the left. That's the green mark. They are in the red, so they are well ahead of it.
Yeah, the record is 2:19:59, and 2:18:16 is the pace. So they're a minute and a half or more ahead of that.
So they slowed a little bit because they were up by about 2 minutes, but they are now getting ready for those final pushes, right? And they're really getting more strategic here. As I said, they are probably taking a look at their watch and saying, oh my goodness, we're running fast, but not concerned about the course record. That's more about the after effect.
It's too late. It's too late to worry about that now. Like we're 23 miles into this thing.
Well, just watching, they always go back to the 3 across, and then somebody wants to push a little bit. 3 across, and they push again. A little look back, and I don't love that. Ihalo taking a look back. To me, that shows weakness.
You know, it's weakness, but at the same time, it can be beneficial. The reason being is, like, I got 3rd spot to secure, but now I'm going to draft behind and be able to just hold on until the end. So, yes, sometimes I think it can be a sign of weakness, but I think also see to make sure you got secure 3rd place if you're going to make a move.
Yep.
Make sure Barisso's far enough back. Alexis Beckett, let's get your point of view on this thing. In fact, if you want, ruin the suspense. Who's going to win?
I don't know. All of these women look so strong. I do not know, but Hellen Obiri, as she's trying to make this three-peat happen, she told me that her daughter told her that she had to change her tactics this year. She said, Mom, they know what you're capable of. You got to do something a little bit different. She's running so fast, but I can't imagine she changed that last tactic of that final kick. So exciting. It's loud here. I'm loving every second of it as these women try to make history. I'll send it back to you guys.
Tanya at 9 years old telling her mom how to race. I believe it.
I think I say this every time that she's in a race, but it's one of my favorite stories. And I asked her, what does Tanya say sometimes when you don't win? And she just says, Mom, why'd you let that lady beat you? Which, you know, kids are really, they ask pointed questions.
Well, Ihalo won the London Marathon in 2022 in her debut. And guess what? She's run the fastest out of these 3 by a lot. She has a PR of 2:16:52. I don't like that she took a look back, but she got right back up in there, and she's feeling that energy that these 2 in front. Sharon Loketti leading this race. Hellen Obiri. These 2 have duked it out time and time again. Oh my gosh, you guys,
Yeah.
I can hardly handle it.
There are no secrets here, to be sure. Amanda McGrory, you were a pace setter. You were a pioneer to some degree in yours. You watch this and see strong, powerful women competing like this. What do we think? What's your view?
A pack of 3 is not a bad place to be. Like Meb said, you are guaranteed a 3rd place finish. You're guaranteed a podium spot. So I think that could give someone a little bit of courage to make a risky move here, put themselves out there and see what's going to happen.
Shannon Lekedi is taking the lead because she knows what the speed of Helen Alberry is going to be like. She don't want to be coming to Boylston. She's going to try as much as she can to get grind right now and not come to Boylston Street because we know that Helen Alberry had the speed. As we can see, Yelimzurf Yohalo is kind of dropping a little bit, so she's going to take her 2nd place and see what happens on Boylston. It's going to be a dual meet between Helen and Sharon.
Mile 24, 4:53, everybody. We are seeing a little bit of a break here.
Yep.
Sharon Lokedi, this is what she does. She likes to push in the final 2 miles. I told you, when she ran that half in New York City just a few weeks ago, she had a major move with 3 to go. And this is what's going on right here. She's making a major move. Helen Obiri is covering it, but Yohalo is not.
We've seen them duel before. Yohalo cannot. She looks behind her. You talk about the podium. 3rd place pays $40,000. 2nd place is $75,000. 1st place is $150,000. They keep going. There's also a $50,000 bonus to break the course record. So make no mistake about it. The trophy's nice. The laurel wreath is nice. So is money, okay? Let's not discount it. The cash, that'll spend.
And John, whoever wins here, whether it's Helen or Sharon, both of them could be under the course record, and which has been a long time for it. But I think, talking to Sharon earlier, she says, I'm happy for Helen to have won twice, but I wanted one for myself. So I'm pretty sure right now she's digging deep as much as she can to create some space away from Helen because she don't want to be in a sprint against Helen.
All right, so the women's champion's still in doubt. It's another duel between Lekedi and Obiri. We're going to go to Hannah, who has the men's champion, John Career. Hannah?
Career finishing this race in 2:04:45. A guy who runs Boston in Chicago, won Chicago in October. Followed that up today with the title in Boston, the younger brother of Wesley Career, who won this in 2012 as they make history. The first siblings ever to win Boston, and you can see the emotion there as we go down to Duke Castiglione with the winner. Duke.
What did it feel like when you crossed that finish line as the Boston Marathon winner?
It was nice, I was ready to win Boston, so I had trained for it, and now I think I am Boston champion, and I'm good. I'm still up.
Did you expect your brother there?
Yeah, I accept him there because I had promised him that I'm going to win, and I made it. Good.
So you saw him there, you guys embraced. That was a special moment, becoming the first brothers to ever win the Boston Marathon. That's pretty special.
It's special in us. For us, we are good, and we are enjoying to be the Boston champion.
Tell us about the start. At the start, your hand right there, right? Right there, and then you scraped your knee as well.
So at like 50 meters from, it was not even less than 50 meters from the start, I fell down and I was like I looked some seconds down, then I woke up and tried to close the cup and I make it.
Did that affect you at all during the race?
For me, it didn't affect me mentally, but it affected my leg and I was still feeling a little bit pain, but I was ready to run and I'm good.
Now, when did you start to push?
For me, I started to push at 20 miles, so I pushed and I saw people are not moving anymore, so I continued pushing and then I come to the finishing line.
And you're about close to 8 minutes faster than your brother when he won. I spent a little time with him over here. He's so proud of you, but what does that feel like? You're gonna maybe give him a little joke about being 8 minutes faster in a win?
So yes, so now, today I will make joke for him because now I am the fastest in the family.
You are.
Yeah. So and he had a title for Boston in the family, but now I got it, and I think I'll make a joke for him.
John, thank you very much. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Duke. I've watched 5Ks, I've watched 10Ks, and here we are in 26, and we've got a sit and kick race.
Yeah, 2K to go. 2K to go. They got up that last little bump there. You definitely feel that bump there. They both went for their bottles, so you know they're both relaxed in their right mind. I think if you get too foggy and your body starts to go, you throw out that last bottle and you just keep racing. These two went over, and I always say it. I think you show your athleticism when you can grab those bottles this late in the stage of a marathon.
Yes, I think after Helen Berry just threw her water bottle, but at this time, you just want to get your mouth wet a little bit, get a little sugar to let the brain know that you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's not that important to carry the water bottles. But I saw earlier there was a lot of hand gesture again. Sharon, don't want to take the lead. And Helen O'Berry don't want to take the chance. So she's going to wait until the last move has been made.
What I like right now when I'm looking at form, Sharon Lokedi, a little bit of a tilt back. That's sort of how she runs, but you can see it. You can see a little. And this is exactly what I was saying. Helen O'Berry has that lean forward. But watch right there, then Lokedi reacts. Woo.
This is where the mental over body, because at this point you've been very competitive. If you were feeling good, you would have made a move and created a space. The created space is not happening now. You're just trying to scan as much as you can. I'm going to work hard next to your shoulder to shoulder. I think it's going to come right now, but Helen O'Berry's been behind. It's kind of like the rivalry we take sometimes, the Ethiopians and the Kenyans. They don't want to take the lead until they have to come to the finish line, and Sharon's getting a little bit impatient with it, but she got to save something for Helen.
Well, this is where the track star in Helen O'Berry really shines. She's used to surges and she's used to changing, but right now Sharon Lokedi is putting it on her. Can Helen O'Berry go for that three-peat? She's trying. She's hanging on.
Yeah, usually Helen on your shoulder is not a great thing, but she's freshened it right there.
There is a space been created. Yeah. It's not big, but it's a little bit. If Sharon Lokedi can be able to see what she's doing, it might be the moment.
What I love about these two right here is they are friends. They are competitors today. They want to beat each other like nobody else, but they are good friends and they take care of each other even during races at times. But right now, it is a race to see who will win, and that is what's fun about it. But at the end of the day, they will both be so excited about how well they ran together today.
Every stride, there's another inch or two. We'll see. Because, listen, we saw Lokedi, and she had dropped back a little bit, and we thought maybe she was going to fall off the pace.
And 2 feet becomes 3 feet or 5 feet. Now the gap has created. This is the monumental move for Ledecky, and I think if she realizes that now, just the next 30 seconds are the most important race, not the finish line. If she can create a space, she's going to be fine.
During the race, it's a surge. This is a closing move, right? You're taking this right to the end right here. This is not kind of, we'll just freshen and see what happens.
1,000 meters to go here when they go under this tunnel, and this is where it hurts. This is not, it's not a flat space. Look, you can see it right here. I love this shot. I said that one was that last bump. This is a slow little climb under this tunnel, and it is a game changer.
Carrie, this was where my decisive win was in 2014. Use a downhill as a gravity to be able to just mechanically create a little bit of space, and the famous turn is coming to Hereford, and then Helen and Ledecky can't see each other, so with that blind spot you have to make the gap make it look bigger, so hopefully create space, enough space to enjoy on Boylston Street.
Lokedi looks better to me now. She isn't leaning back quite as far. Her chin is a little bit up, but this is what she does. She likes to put the pressure on and slowly pull away, and she made a real hard move there. Just what, the last K really made that hard move. That's right on Hereford is so exciting. She knows it's close.
You know, it is very hard to run a marathon. It's very difficult to win the Boston Marathon. Helen O'Berry won it twice, and the pressure of maybe doing three-peat is tough. Now the challenge becomes, you know, Sharon Ledecky wants one for herself, and I think we might see that happen at this very exact moment.
Yeah, well, and when you have to go, she goes. It wasn't timid. It may, you know, you might not make it. She timed it right, but there's the left onto Boylston. But when you make that move, you've got it. It's got to be with all the conviction you have left at that point.
Well, I have to say, Sharon brought her mom over from Kenya to be in Flagstaff with her for the last month. She said she's been taking good care of her, and any time that her mom is around, she elevates her game. She was 4th at the Olympics. She was not exactly happy with that position, but grateful for the position because she wasn't named originally to that squad. Bridget Kosgei pulled out with injury. Sharon took the challenge. She only had 8 weeks to prepare, and look at her here. She is going for her 2nd World Marathon Majors after winning her debut in 2022 in New York. What a race.
If you finish, I get 4th is off the podium, so that's always hard, but behind Sifan Hassan and Tiga Safa and Helen Obiri, like, you didn't get beat by a bunch of plumbers, right? You got beat by gals who can really go. But this time, Sharon Lokedi, who's been on the wrong end of it with some duels with Helen Obiri, she has vanquished the back-to-back champion and now can just enjoy this run.
You know, John,
drink it in.
When you are competing to the best that you can and you could engage how far you are from Helen Obiri at the Olympic Games, now this is the time that she said, hey, I could do this one day, I could do this one day, and the day has come.
And she doesn't always get that attention, but she's always in it, John. We've called her name time and time again. Congratulations to her. Look at her come in.
I mean, I'm so excited. I'm on the verge of giving a rock chalk for her and her Kansas background.
The emotion, look at the expression on her face, and the dream is becoming a reality.
3 in a row, no. A new Boston Marathon champ for 2025. That finish line and the laurel belong to Sharon Lokedi.
Oh, there's her mom. I'm crying. I'm sorry. Oh, and you know what? This woman that's coming in 2nd, Helen Obiri, give it up to her as well. What a phenomenal woman, and we love watching her race.
Long time since she's been in the right-hand lane here in Boston. Back to back and now runner-up.
Lokedi's been through a lot. She's been through a lot this year, and she is just so excited. And we know now that some of the Americans are making their way here. Jess McLean is now in 7th position.
And Sharon Lokedi destroys the course record of 2:19.59 by 2.5 minutes. Yahalo comes in 3rd, last place on the podium by her. Great race.
Stephen Haas there hugging Sharon Lokedi. Her coach and agent plays double duty there. Just the emotion. I mean, she is such a fun personality. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She loves everybody around her.
Well, and you watch that, and when they get there and you see, yes, the joy, but you see how many people are involved in that success. There's a coach, there's a mom, you know, the parents, there's a nutritionist. Like, it really is, it's a team. Even though you're out there by yourself, it takes, you stand on a lot of people's shoulders.
Well done. Well done.
To the end. Was there ever a point where you're thinking, I'm going too fast?
Yes.
Yes,
all the time.
What year?
The whole way. And it's like, you know, the first miles are like easy, up and down, up and down. But once you start hitting the hills and you're like, maybe I'm going fast, I need to like maybe subside some energy for the last mile. But you know, I believed in, I was like, let's just stick with it and see how it ends. You never know until you try, right? So.
You and Helen pushed each other last year. Helen won, you finished 2nd.
Yeah.
You guys competed again this year. It was a race.
Yeah.
You guys seem to bring out the best in each other.
Yes. And you know, we kept running, and I'm always like second to her. And today I was like, there's no way. I just have to like put it out there and just fight to the end and see how it goes. So I'm so glad. You know, I ran that fast, and she was right behind me, and you know, we all just fought and wanted this so bad. So, yeah.
I talked to your mom.
Yeah.
I saw the embrace, the finish line.
Yes.
Who's happier, you or her?
I definitely think it's her, but she's my inspiration, and she's always there supporting me. So it was so good to win, and her being here to like see all that. So yeah, it feels so good. I cannot believe like how my family are going crazy. My teammates, everyone just been supporting me. I just want to say thank you.
Congratulations. What a special day.
Thank you. And thank you, Boston. It was awesome out there. I loved every part of it. So thank you. Yeah.
Congrats. Hand it back to you.
I love that. Thank you,
Boston.
America.
That was the best.
I mean, that finish finishing kick. I
Right,
don't know if she
right.
like saw her mother there and was like
Right.
literally running into her mother's
Right.
arms, but definitely we know the
was
crowd
beautiful.
was booing her at the end. And
And
she
as
beats
John
her
pointed
good
out
friend.
during the race, all three, the podium shattered the course record.
Yeah,
So
it was
it's
incredible.
spectacular.
And that's a course record that has
Yeah.
been here since
Yeah.
2014. So, again, to break that course record by 2.5 minutes, also
It's
for her to
impressive.
have won her first major marathon back in 2022, okay?
Do it
So it's
again.
been a while to come back and do it again after finishing second here last year. Really cool
It was a
story.
great
on
finish. It was a great show.
What
Ellen
an
O'Berry pushing her right down the street. It was
Yes,
wonderful.
and we all thought, because that's how O'Beary's
Right,
won it the
right,
last 2 years,
Yes.
we
right.
thought she might like
We did.
shot her
Right,
and
right.
that sprint to the finish, but very, very exciting. Of course, there's 30,000 people still out there, including our good friend Matt James, who's running in his 8th marathon, his 2nd Boston, and he's wearing those very cool Meta glasses. There he is earlier.
Taking his deep breaths before he gets off and runs and hits the course. He has these glasses that are going to enable him to give the runner's view of exactly what he sees. In fact, here is what he sees. This is what it looks like. So if you're out in the course with 30,000 people, there you go.
So actually, you do get a sense of how narrow the
Right,
course is at
right,
points and just how crowded it could be. And again, there are 4 waves of runners going out there. As one of the cool things about this race is you have everyday runners, people who qualify or people who are raising money for charity, and they're racing alongside the best in the world.
Well, as Maria pointed out, because she's run the race, when you come out of Kenmore Square and dip down,
I'm telling you, that,
you're spent already, and you have to
and
accelerate.
then it's a tiny
Right.
little hill, but
Right.
it feels monumental. But then you can start to feel the crowd, and they start to cheer you in, and then you go right around here, and that's the goal right behind us.
As
It's
you
amazing.
speak from experience.
I do,
There
and
you
I
go.
loved it.
Yep.
It was a long time ago, but boy, it's right here always.
Well, and you're refreshed by all 4 races that happened out on this course today. I mean, all of them were brilliantly maneuvered, brilliantly executed. It was really good.
And we saw John Career really running away with it, which is so cool. Obviously, the younger brother of Wesley Career, former champ here. But behind him was Connor Mance and Clayton Young, those training partners from BYU, and their 3rd BYU alum, Rory Linklater. They were all back there in that 2nd pack. Connor Mance today had his best finish ever in a major. Just off the podium, though. Something to strive for, but he finished 4th, and he is standing by with Duke.
All right, with us now, Connor Mance, first American across the finish line today. Connor, what did that feel like?
Today was difficult for sure, but it was a blast to be in Boston, competing with the best in the world. It was tough for sure. Was happy to be there with, fighting for second with about a quarter mile.